The NFL on CBS presents the Philadelphia Eagles against the New Orleans Saints. Let's take a check of the standings. We see the Eagles at 1-3. If they're going to make a move, they better do it quickly in the NFC East. And over in the West, the New Orleans Saints have already begun as they've won 2 games in a row. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Dierdorf, and along with my partner, Gene Fugit, we'll bring you this afternoon's ball game. Gene, 2 very, very aggressive defenses. They will pressure each other's offensive teams.
Well, the pressure is going to be especially on the Eagle offense today, Dan, because that offense is being led by rookie quarterback Randall Cunningham. Last week, the Saints defense did a number on Joe Montana, sacking him 6 times, and they believe they can do it again today against the Eagles.
Well, the New Orleans Saints have won the toss, and they will receive. Kicking off for Philadelphia will be their fine young place kicker, Paul McFadden, and the deep men for New Orleans, Eric Martin and Willie Tullis. As usual, perfect weather conditions here in the Dome. About 70 degrees. McFadden toes it up, and this game is underway. Eric Martin at his own 10. Gets beyond the 20 up to about the 23-yard line where Aaron Brown makes the hit for Philadelphia. There's some question for the New Orleans Saints as to the health of some of their people, notably fullback Pokey Guy-Jean, who injured a hamstring in their game last week. Wayne Wilson will start in the backfield for New Orleans. And they go to a 2 tight end offense with John Tice as the extra tight end. On first down, Wilson throws. I think it's safe to say that he threw that away in trying to find Eric Martin.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say, Dan.
Dave Wilson, the 4th-year quarterback from the University of Illinois.
Both teams expect to pass a lot today. And I guess that's the trend in the league, so the Saints and the Eagles shouldn't be any different from the rest of the teams.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Wilson sets his offense and drops the throw. He's got time, goes downfield. He's got a receiver. Did he have control of the ball? No, he did not. Went for number 88, Eugene Goodlow.
Eugene Goodlow, usually a very sure-handed receiver, had a difficult time bringing it in, and I think one reason he had such a difficult time was because of the Eagle defense. You know, that pass defense in the secondary, they are known for hitting. Number 48, Wes Hopkins, was there on that play, and he helped break it up.
Wes Hopkins with the good coverage on Eugene Goodlow. The throw from Wilson was right there, but an incompletion brings up 3rd and 10. 3 wide receivers in the Saint lineup, and Wilson to throw. Flares it out to Wilson. He tries to put on a move, but absolutely nothing going. Andre Waters came up with the coverage, and it's a punting situation for the Saints.
Well, the Eagle defense, especially on passing situations, they love to keep that play in front of them. That time they dropped deep, didn't give Wilson anything deep, and all he had was that flare to Wayne Wilson, who had a great game last week running the ball against the 49ers.
That he did, over 100 yards. The NFC's best punter last year, Brian Hansen, will kick for New Orleans. Evan Cooper, the lone deep man for the Eagles. Hansen, a rifle shot. Drives Evans back. Good special teams coverage that time. Cooper didn't have much going, only picked up 7 after a 50-yard kick. Gary Cobb, the newcomer from Detroit, made the hit. Here's the Eagles offensively. They'll start with rookie Randall Cunningham at quarterback. Ernest Jackson in the 1-back offense. Mike Quick, Kenny Jackson, the wideouts, and Michael Haddix will be their movement tight end. The offensive line, Reeves, Kenny, Dennard, Baker, and Mitchell, and the very talented John Spagnola at tight end. Randall Cunningham hands off to Ernest Jackson, who goes over the left side for some positive yardage. Defensively for New Orleans, they go with the 3-man line. Bruce Clark, Tony Elliott, and Jim Wilkes get the call up front. And this is an aggressive linebacking core. Ricky Jackson, Glenn Redd, Scott Pallure, and Whitney Paul, they fly to the football. And in the secondary, on the corners, Waymer and Poe, and Terry Hogue and Frank Waddlet form the safety combination. Let's make it 2nd down, 7 yards to go. Again, Jackson, he fumbles. He fumbles, and the Saints have the recovery. New Orleans comes up with a football. Terry Hogue, the safety. The game's first break, and New Orleans gets the ball in Eagle territory.
Well, last week, New Orleans took 3 turnovers away from the 49ers and turned all 3 turnovers into points. Here you have a handoff from Cunningham, and Jackson has both hands on the ball. But look at number 75, Big Clark. Bruce Clark, the All-American from Penn State, now trying to be an All-Pro for the Saints, makes the big play like he does so many times for the Saints.
This brings up a 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Wilson hands off to Wayne Wilson. And he gets to the 40-yard line. Let's take a look at New Orleans offensively now that they've decided who's going to play and who's not. Dave Wilson starts at quarterback with Wayne Wilson, the setback. Wide receivers, Eric Martin, Eugene Goodlow, and John Tice, Hobie Brenner. LaFari, Perot, Hilgenberg, Williams, and Brock form the offensive line.
When Wilson's in the backfield, look for the Saints to pass.
2nd down, 7 yards to go. Wilson with a short drop, and he's going to run. He hook slides in, and you saw the flag go flying. The umpire threw the flag, and more times than not, that's holding on the offense. And that is the call. So New Orleans, with the game's first break, getting the Ernest Jackson fumble, now commits the game's first penalty as they'll get marched back. Gordon McCarter.
Holding, number 61, offense. 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Joel Hilgenberg, the center for the Saints, got caught with the arms out. 3-man line again for Philadelphia. Reggie White, Ken Clark, and Greg Brown. White last week with 3 sacks. Wilkes, Reichenbach, Griggs, and Cobb. The linebacking core. Fouls starting today for the injured Roynell Young. Herman Edwards at the other corner. And it's Ellis and Hopkins at the safeties. 2nd down, 17 yards to go. Wilson under pressure. Hobie Brenner. Hobie Brenner, the tight end, picks up what appears to be a New Orleans 1st down.
Well, that's a real turnaround. Usually with 2nd and long, it's such a difficult call to make. The Eagles have a blitz on. There you see number 50 coming right up the middle and hitting Wilson. But that leaves Hobie Brenner open over the middle, and Brenner tucks it away and goes down and makes a big 1st down.
Let's credit Brenner with 18 yards on the reception. That was Gary Cobb who came on the delayed blitz. Put some pressure on Wilson, but Dave stayed in there and threw the strike to Brenner. From the 32-yard line, 1st down. Handoff to Wayne Wilson. Can he get outside? The Eagles with the good pursuit. Wes Hopkins coming up and driving Wayne Wilson out of bounds. Gary Cobb with an assist. Not much going that time.
Well, Dan, like many teams in the NFL, the Saints like to use that one-back offense quite a bit. You know, usually they'll have Earl Campbell in on a running situation. In a passing situation, they like to go with Wayne Wilson, who's a much better receiver coming out of the backfield. That time they hoped to go up the middle with Tice on a trap play, but it didn't work, and they had to go outside.
If Gaijan would have been healthy, it would have been Gaijan and Campbell. But when they go one back, they like it to be Wayne Wilson. Dave Wilson this time has an open receiver. That's Eric Martin. Eric Martin not going out of bounds. Made the good move, and he picks up another New Orleans 1st down.
Number 84, Eric Martin, is really a favorite here. 7th-round draft choice from LSU. Here you see him working one-on-one with an out pattern, and with that much cushion, it doesn't take much of a move. Number 29, Elbert Fowles, is replacing the injured Roynell Young, and he'll have to get up a little tighter if he's going to prevent that kind of pass completion.
Elbert Fowles completely out of the picture. That's an indication as to the size of that cushion. Eric Martin, his 11th catch of the season. A promising rookie for New Orleans. Again, Wilson to throw. Incomplete. He was pressured that time. Brown came in. Joe Drake also in there putting on the hit. And the New Orleans fans thought there should have been some interference. Eric Martin working against Herman Edwards.
Well, watch Herman Edwards. In years past, they would have called this a pass interference because anytime near that end zone, when the defensive player hits that offensive receiver and the ball's in the air, last year it's an automatic flag. This year they're letting the defense get a lot closer on that, and that's why there was no call.
By where the ball came in and landed, you have to wonder if Eric Martin would have been able to get to that football. Second down from the 13. Again, Wilson throws to the end zone, and what a defensive play that time by Albert Fowles. Boy, did he come up and make a fine play, Gene.
Well, you can't go back too many times. You know, they just beat him a couple of plays ago in that same pattern, and I guess he's seen it before. Here comes Martin. He's a rookie, and he runs the pattern the same way. And Fowles, who played almost the entire season last year replacing Roynell Young, is up to it with a great defensive stop. You know, that guy's on the island out there, and when he gets beat like he did 2 plays earlier when he wasn't even in the picture, he looks horrible. But there he made a great play.
Roynell Young, injured last week in that game against the Giants, does not start today. The blitz is on, and down goes Wilson. Wes Hopkins on the safety blitz, got in.
The Eagles safeties, Ellis and Hopkins, as a pair, I believe they may be the 2 best safeties in the league, Dan. They can play pass, they can play run, and they can blitz. Here, getting close to the end zone, Wilson has to be alert for that, but they just could not pick it up. And I think, Dan, it might have been because of that inexperienced offensive line of the Saints. They had 3 injuries 2 weeks ago, and they have 3 new starters.
They certainly do. Perot, Hilgenberg, and Williams, the 2 guards in the center, are newcomers. Well, now Morton Anderson will attempt to get the Saints on the board as he tries a 40-yarder. He gets good foot into it, and it's right there. New Orleans, with Morton Anderson on a 40-yard field goal, has taken the lead. Well, can the Eagles get it going offensively? We'll find out. An Ernest Jackson fumble has become a 3-point lead for the New Orleans Saints as Morton Anderson kicked a 40-yarder to put his club out front, and he'll now kick off.
Well, that Eagle defense, Dan, really, it was almost a touchdown situation. I think the Eagles feel very good to get out of there with just giving up 3 points.
It really was a team blitz. It was Wes Hopkins that got in, but another safety, Evan Cooper, was coming as well. Anderson with a high, deep kick that'll be fielded in the end zone by Herman Hunter, and he decides to stay home. That may be a wise decision. It'll be 1st and 10 for Philadelphia at the 20-yard line. Well, next Saturday, CBS Sports College Football will bring you a bitter rivalry between the Michigan Wolverines, undefeated, beating Wisconsin 33-6 yesterday, against the Michigan State Spartans up in East Lansing. That game live at 2:30 Eastern Time. The Michigan Wolverines and the Michigan State Spartans.
Is that a big game, Dan?
I get excited just talking about that.
Yeah, just because you went to Michigan.
On 1st down, Randall Cunningham goes to Ernest Jackson, and what a hole. Ernest Jackson, a big hole on the right side, immediately picks up a Philadelphia 1st down.
Now, Ernest Jackson is really fun to talk to. He told me he's still trying to prove himself to his teammates, but when he keeps running the ball like this, it will not take him long. Ernest played for the Chargers last year and led the entire AFC in rushing, and he knows how to find a hole. They call him a straight up and down runner. He doesn't go to the sidelines. He likes to turn it up with power.
Smart play by the Eagle offensive coaches, immediately coming back to Jackson after the fumble. Ernest gets the call again, barrels forward for a couple. On that last play, when he got around the right side, if you notice number 57, Ricky Jackson, he's the linebacker that had contained on that play, and he got caught to the inside, and Ernest Jackson went for 13.
Well, Ricky Jackson, who is one of the New Orleans Saints Pro Bowlers, feels that he doesn't get the recognition that his more celebrated teammate in college, Hugh Green, gets.
What's interesting about the Ricky Jackson-Hugh Green connection at Pitt was that Ricky Jackson was the leading tackler on that ball club. 2nd down, 6 yards to go. Cunningham throws, and it's dropped. That's Michael Haddix, who had it, looked upfield, and just plain dropped the football.
That's always a tough play for a back circling out of the backfield because you know those defenders are drawing a beat on you. Here, Cunningham with a very deft touch leading him perfectly, but Haddix, I guess he tried to run before he caught it, which is the usual mistake a receiver will make when he drops that ball that's coming right to him.
Don't you know the Eagle coach is just cringed on the sidelines? They want their youngster to get as much confidence as he can, as early as he can in a ball game, and Michael Haddix didn't give him any help. The shotgun on 3rd down. Cunningham, with all sorts of time, overthrows his man. And the flag comes late. A flag comes in late, and Johnny Poe doesn't like this at all. A flag on the far sideline, it appears, as well. We may have a couple different fouls called in this one play. Holding against New Orleans, so that'll bring up an automatic first down for Philadelphia. So Haddix dropped the ball, but Cunningham here gets a break.
Well, New Orleans
Holding 2 players on the defense, both number 25 and 26. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I guess that's 2 for the price of 1, Dan. Well, we'll take a look at Poe holding. You know, the defense came out to play tough, and they're playing that tough position up close, and they have 5 yards where they can jam the receiver. Now, Willie Tullis.
That's Willie Tullis rather than Johnny Poe.
Right.
They both were guilty on the play.
Take your pick, I guess, huh?
That time we looked at Willie Tullis. This is Ernest Jackson on first down. Not much going. The Saints swarm to the football. Tony Elliott there, nose guard number 99 at the bottom of that pile. Picks up a couple, bringing up second down and 8.
Well, Ted Marcher-Broda, the offensive coordinator for the Eagles, told me that he believes that his team can move the ball both on the ground and in the air, but it's important to get some momentum going, and that's why they're running the ball so much early in the game.
And they would love to see their running attack be strong today. That certainly takes some of the pressure off of Randall Cunningham. Ernest Jackson, the AFC's leading rusher of a year ago, picks up about 3 on that play. We'll see if Philadelphia will go to their passing attack. Ernest Jackson came to the Eagles in a trade with San Diego. Of course, San Diego has now supplemented their running attack by the acquisition of Gary Anderson. A good trade for the Eagles in acquiring Ernest Jackson, as the Eagles traded Wilbert Montgomery to the Detroit Lions for linebacker Gary Cobb. A lot of players going in and out of Philadelphia, Gene. Third down, 5 yards to go, and the Eagles go to the shotgun. Cunningham. A lot on that ball. Across the middle to Spagnola. The ball was up in the air a little bit.
Yeah, it looked like John was a little surprised at how quick that ball got there. You know, Randall, he can really fire that ball.
He comes over the top, a classic delivery, and that ball, safe to say that it had a lot on it.
That's right.
It went off of Spagnola's hands and went another 20 yards downfield, and the Eagles were lucky that wasn't intercepted. Michael Horan will punt. Eric Martin, the lone deep man for New Orleans, sets up at about his 10. Horan, a very high kick near the sidelines, and it goes out of bounds. There'll be no return on that one. Let's see where they spot it. Outside the 20 at the 21-yard line, it'll be first down for the Saints. A 31-yard kick, and obviously no return. There's 7 minutes and 11 seconds left here in the first quarter. New Orleans has the lead. New Orleans will open up offensively at their own 21-yard line. Let's see what's going on around the National Football League. Get a couple of scores here for you. Detroit's leading Green Bay.
Yeah, 7-0 in that one, Dan.
Buffalo out in front of Indianapolis, 7-0 in the first quarter.
Greg Bell had an 18-yard run. Glad his knee wasn't hurt as bad as we thought it might have been.
And as you saw, Cleveland out in front. On first down, flags go flying, and this play is going nowhere. A dead play as the whistle blew before the snap of the football.
Dan, if the Eagles are going to be successful, they have to work with field position.
Left side offensive line.
You know, field position is so important to the Eagle team. And as well as their defense is playing, if they can keep decent field position, they think with Paul McFadden, who's an excellent field goal kicker, that they can win just on field goals, although, of course, they'd like to get some touchdowns in there.
Well, we're seeing a good matchup of field goal kickers here today. Anderson for New Orleans and McFadden for Philadelphia. Miami leading Pittsburgh 7-0 over in the AFC. That's a first quarter score. Well, the 5-yard penalty makes it 1st and 15. And Dave Wilson hands off to Wayne Wilson. And he's hit immediately by Anthony Griggs. And another flag is down. You know, the Saints having difficulty moving out of their own end of the field, and this looks like another 10 yards.
You know, that Eagle defense, they'll drive the ball just as far as that Eagle offense. I mean, they've picked up 5 yards on the first play. Now with another holding penny, they're picking up another 10 yards. You're seeing a defensive drive, Dan.
Well, the Eagles have only allowed 60 points in their 4 games. At 15-yard a clip average, that'll win you some football.
Holding, number 71, offense, half the distance penalty, first down.
Well, that's Petey Perot, who's having to fill in. Unbelievably, the Saints lost Kelvin Clark, Brad Edelman, and Steve Court, the entire interior of their offensive line within 17 plays. All 3 of those fellas went out in a game against Tampa Bay earlier in the season, and what a crushing blow that can be for an offensive line. I've never seen anything like that. 1st and 23. Not much going there. New Orleans hands the ball off to Wayne Wilson, and he's got nowhere Reggie White.
That Saint offensive line is really going to be challenged today because head coach Marion Campbell of the Eagles, I mean, he is known for turning out outstanding defensive linemen. There's an injured player on the field, Dan.
One of the Eagles is down, and that is Reggie White, the defensive lineman who made that tackle, and he is injured on the play. 6:35, we're still in the first quarter. New Orleans is out in front.
There you see number 91, Reggie White, and this is the play he got injured on. He made a great play jumping on a guy's back, but as he comes over, he falls down and looks like maybe one of his teammates, 51, Keith Wilkes, might have hit him in the ribs.
Dave Wilson goes downfield, and he completes it to Eric Martin. Dave Wilson on 2nd down finds his rookie receiver, Eric Martin, for the completion.
Well, number 29 for the Eagles, Albert Fowles, clearly will be tested today. Here he is again matched up one-on-one with number 84 of the Saints, Eric Martin. Martin again running that same out pattern. As he comes down, he looks in, cuts out, good hands, but Fowles is giving him too much cushion. The one that Fowles broke up, he was close to the end zone, so he didn't have room to give him the cushion. Now that he's giving him the cushion again, the Saints are taking advantage of it.
It's 3rd and 4. New Orleans for the first down, throws the ball downfield, and once again, that's Eric Martin. Eric Martin with the reception moves the sticks for New Orleans.
Well, I guess Dave Wilson is finally feeling good. You know, so many games he's had this season where he started off poorly, but this time he's starting off very hot. You got 2 receivers out there, and a lot of times the defensive backs can get picked off or confused. This time, you can see that with 2 receivers in the area, it looks like it might have even been a mistake, Dan.
You very seldom see that many those 2 guys that close together. If it was a mistake, it worked out very well for New Orleans, and on first down, it's Wayne Wilson with the carry.
Against Denver.
There's a look at Reggie, and I guess he's feeling better. But Reggie,
what a week he had last week, James.
Oh, yeah, he had a great week last week. Coming in his first game with the Eagles, he had 3 sacks, and he tipped the pass that caused the interception that allowed Herman Edwards to run in for a touchdown.
It's one heck of a start, a tough act to follow.
To be sure.
Reggie left the field under his own power, and it looks like he'll be back. 4 yards on that first down carry, and it brings up 2nd and 6. Wilson airs it out. Again going for Martin, but that pass out of bounds.
Well, that was a good call by the Saints that time, Dan, because they've been going to the right with success. And what happens usually is the defense will compensate to that side, leaving one-on-one coverage to the other side. And that time Wilson tried to probe it, but Wes Hopkins was back there, a good free safety.
Yeah, they were there. Wes Hopkins along with Herman Edwards. The good coverage on Martin, and Wilson wisely threw the ball out of bounds. So you see Dave, 5 of 10. It's 3rd and 6 from their own 44. With good time across the middle, and here comes the flag. That was Hobie Brenner, the tight end. He's hit, and the flag comes out of the secondary.
Anytime you're running a pass in the middle, Dan, you can expect contact.
Well, there it works against Philadelphia. Too aggressive in the secondary. The hit from behind against Hobie Brenner. We'll get the call from the referee, Gordon McCarter.
Maybe.
Illegal use of hands, number 21 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Evan Cooper.
Well, that was on Evan Cooper, Dan. In passing situations, the Eagles will come in with as many in the past as 8 defensive backs. Now with Roynell Young being hurt, they'll come in with 7. Here they have many defensive backs. You see in the middle of your screen what happened, and there was contact, a good call.
That one easy to call. Evan Cooper all over Hobie Brenner. A first down for New Orleans, and Wayne Wilson, what a versatile ball player, picks up 8. 7th-year player from Shepherd University.
And we asked him where that was.
It's in West Virginia, in case you were wondering.
And he said he's the only player to make the NFL out of Shepherd.
Let's credit Wilson with 9 yards on that carry. Again, it's Wilson, and look at that. What a run. Wayne Wilson with all the room in the world to the outside.
Well, they've been using that formation to pass the entire first quarter, and now all of a sudden they've gone to their other weapon. Wilson to Wilson.
It certainly worked out last week as the Saints upset the 49ers 20-17 at Candlestick. Another Saint first down. Wilson to throw. Eugene Goodlow with the touchdown, and he's injured on the play.
That was a fine throw by Dave Wilson, who had plenty of time. The Saints have been crossing up the Eagles. They'd run, they'd pass, they'd run, they pass. That time, looking for the run, they set up, and boy, that was a great throw. See us off of play action. He faked the run to Wilson that time, and he has plenty of time. And that's what makes the difference for a quarterback. When a quarterback has time like that in the NFL, they usually know what to do with it. And Goodlow, with good speed, got deep. He's also a little injured there, and I think what happened was he caught the ball, and a lot of times what happens to a receiver, it happened to me many times, is you catch that ball and land, and the point of the ball gets you right in the sternum, and it'll knock the air right out of you.
Herman Edwards had the initial coverage on Eugene Goodlow, and it looked like Ray Ellis, who had the deep outside to that side, was late in getting over into the coverage.
Well, that's what happened when the quarterback has time, see, because he's fooled a little. Ray was looking to go outside, and then he looked back to the middle, and that was all he needed.
Well, Goodlow is up, and he's walking back towards the Saint bench, and to a fine ovation. Goodlow with his second touchdown catch of the year has given the Saints a 9-0 lead, and Morton Anderson will try the extra point. It's right down the middle, and New Orleans on the verge of taking command of this football game. 3:26 left in the first quarter. The Saints out front.
Well, the Saints are picking up where they left off last week. An 8-play drive, 79 yards. The big play, Dave Wilson to Eugene Goodlow. Goodlow, who was injured on that touchdown, but usually on a touchdown, you want to get up and spike that ball.
Morton Anderson kicks off a high kick that makes it to the Eagle goal line, and Herman Hunter brings it out. And he doesn't make it. He gets out near the 15-yard line.
Well, the last thing that Coach Campbell of the Eagles wanted was for the Saints to get off to a fast start, because the fans here are so starved for a winner. The Saints have never been to a playoff. Last week they beat the 49ers, the champions, and they think they have a team that might go to the playoffs now.
Next week is a CBS doubleheader. The first game in your area might be St. Louis against Philadelphia. The Giants in Cincinnati or Detroit and Washington, 12:30 Eastern. And then the second game, Atlanta and Seattle. New Orleans against the Rams and the 49ers and the Bears. Check your local listings for the game time. On first down, Cunningham. He keeps it. Randall Randall Cunningham brought it back down, and he's sacked.
Looking at it from ground level, you can see with Randall Cunningham as he feels the pressure. That's 75, Bruce Clark coming in, and he held the ball, which is good, because a lot of times the rookie quarterback will throw that ball into the coverage. But Randall took the hit.
He was hit from behind by Jim Wilkes, and I don't even think Wilkes thought he had the football. I think he thought he threw it. Ernest Jackson goes right. Ricky Jackson and the Saints are there.
Yeah, Dave Waymer, the quarterback, number 44, also came up and sacrificed his body. I mean, he literally threw his body into that play. There he is, number 44, Waymer.
This cannot be the start that Marion Campbell wanted to see.
No, especially in that Superdome, because you don't want to go on the road and give that team anything for the home fans to cheer about.
There's still over 2 minutes left to play in the first quarter, and already the Saints out in front by 10. And 3rd and 12 for young Randall Cunningham. Here comes the flag. He was going for Kenny Jackson, and out comes the flag. You have to wonder, with the bad ankle in weeks previous to this, if Cunningham wouldn't have taken off.
Number 25 defense, automatic 1st and 10.
You know, Dan, it's funny. I was thinking the same thing. I was wondering whether it's because his ankle is a little sore, because that left ankle was sprained last week, or is he getting experience now because he came up and he had plenty of time once he got through that initial rush. Kenny Jackson was open and he delivered a fine pass.
Johnny Poe, another penalty for New Orleans. And on 1st down, this time it's number 36. That's Herman Hunter taking off with the football, and he tries the right side, but Ricky Jackson.
Well, Ricky is tough with that point of attack. You know, he likes to blitz, but he says he also likes to play that run right at him. Here you see it now on a tight end. He wants to control that tight end, but not go down too far because the back is coming at him. He got knocked back a little bit, but boy, he's tough.
He fought off the block of Major Everett, 3rd-year player for the Eagles, and Ricky Jackson, one of the very best at the outside linebacker position. Cunningham, he's under pressure but gets it away to Hunter. And how about that? Bruce Clark coming all the way across.
Well, I told you how Ricky Jackson likes to blitz, and he helped set that play up that time because 57, Jackson comes flying in from your left side. Watch 75 in the middle of your screen. They had a game on, and he's over there to fight through that wall of blockers for the screen and make the big tackle. 75, Bruce Clark.
Bruce, who spent a couple of years in Canada, that time made the play, but after the pressure by Ricky Jackson, who's already got 5 sacks on the year, and Randall Cunningham having a shaky start. Shotgun on 3rd down. He's going, and it's intercepted. That's Dave Waymer. He fumbles. And it's picked up by the Saints. When it rains, it pours. Frank Waddle recovered the Dave Waymer fumble.
They found a mismatch, Dan. Number 26 on your left of your screen can't block Ricky Jackson. That's Haddix. He can't block him. He tried to pull him down. Cunningham felt the pressure, rushed the pass, incomplete. And now Waymer knows what to do with it, except he forgets to put it away.
Mike Quick got a hand on the ball, but it deflected to Waymer, who then fumbled, and Frank Waddle alertly made the recovery, and the Saints deep in Eagle territory. Wayne Wilson, the lone setback, gets the ball. He picks up maybe a yard, and here comes a flag.
I think it's on the tight end.
This is going to go against New Orleans.
John Tice was out there trying to block Reggie Wilkes, and Wilkes is tough to hook. You know, a tight end has a play called a hook block where he tries to get that linebacker and keep him from going outside so the sweep can get out there. And that time, that was the play that was called. And Wilkes, I used to block Wilkes when I was playing, Dan, and he's a tough linebacker to hook.
But the key is not to put out the hooks.
Holding, number 82, offense, repeat 1st down.
Well,
Well, I don't
called
know
it
about putting
correctly.
them out. It's knowing when to pull them in, because you got to hook them a little.
Well, you spotted that one. John Tice moves his Saints back 10 yards and brings up a 1st and 20. Wilson at quarterback, Wilson at running back. And Dave goes downfield, and he's got Larry Hardy.
Well, Dan, it used to be my favorite situation, a tight end being covered by a linebacker. Here you see Larry Hardy's going to come across the middle, and number 58, Anthony Griggs, is trying to cover him, and there he is, but he doesn't have a chance.
That was the last play of the first quarter. Larry Hardy on the catch for the Saints has them very deep in Eagle territory. It's 10-0 in favor of New Orleans, and they threaten to open it up. The first play of the second quarter finds New Orleans 1st and goal at the Eagle 7-yard line. How's this for setting your offense? Wilson sends Hardy back to the wing. A ragged play for New Orleans. Wayne Wilson gets the football, but I think they're lucky to pick up a couple.
I guess you can get a little confused.
Need a lot for the first.
Right, you know, sometimes you don't know the difference. But the Saints have got to be excited. Boy, 10-0 lead this early in the game.
It's Bum Phillips talking with his offensive line coach, Carl Mock, former center for the Oilers for Bum for a number of years.
The singing center, I might add.
The singing center. Well, he'll be singing the praises of his offense if they can get a touchdown. It's 2nd and goal at the 5. Wilson to Wilson. He threw to Wayne Wilson, but they're going to call that an incomplete pass.
Well, the yards sure get tough to come by the closer you get to the end zone, especially against this tough Eagle defense. Here you see from the backside, pressure on Wilson, but he still gets the pass out, but it's dropped. Number 24, Ellis, was coming in on a safety blitz. You know, Dan, in the first quarter, the Eagles only had a -9 yards passing. Now we know why they're last in the league. But New Orleans had a whopping 142 yards of total offense, and they're still moving.
The Eagles dead last in the NFL with their passing attack, and they're not off to a good start by any stretch of the imagination. 3rd and goal. Wilson pumps once. Intercepted by Evan Cooper. There's a break for the Eagles. Evan Cooper comes up with a deflected pass.
Well, that's a play you would expect from a rookie quarterback. Not a Dave Wilson who's been in this league for 4 years. He rolled out and he had plenty of time, but what happened was the Eagles had that play defense. Here you see you got 2 wide receivers and another back, number 19, Guido Merkins, coming out there, but they're covered. Now they're open, and then a bad pass, a tip ball, and an interception by Cooper. A big play for the Eagles, but will they be able to take advantage of it? Because they're backed up against the end zone with the crowd screaming in their ears. In my ears too, Dan.
Merkins was open on the play, and the ball was back behind him. That's his first interception of his NFL career. Evan Cooper, the second-year safety man from Michigan.
You know, people might wonder why Guido Merkins had number 19, because you don't see many receivers with that number anymore. But Guido, who's also the number 3 quarterback, or the number 4 quarterback on this team, has been in the league long enough to keep his original number, which was 19.
It is 2nd down. 6 yards to go for Philadelphia, and New Orleans is tough. New Orleans playing tough defense, and Philadelphia a long way to go.
Well, I'm sure when Cunningham and the Eagle offense went out there, the coach told them to try to get that ball past the 20. Don't worry about going 99 yards and scoring a touchdown. It's only 10-0. We're still in this game, but let's get that ball out so we can kick it past the 50.
Some first downs right now, more important for the Eagles. 3rd and 4. Cunningham's going to throw. Across the middle, an incompletion, and Philadelphia is going to have to punt. Mike Quick, the intended receiver. And this is just not going Philadelphia's way at the moment. Mike Horan from his own end zone. Mike Horan, a tremendous job of getting rid of the football. That ball deflected by the Eagles. That will be brought back, and here comes a flag. That ball knocked forward by Philadelphia, and you're not allowed to do that. A 31-yard kick by Mike Horan, but what a job he did by fielding a bad snap.
And there's a flag on the play, Dan. You think they could have called a penalty for hitting that ball?
Oh, they sure did. What a fine retrieval of the football that time by Horan. Well, we're going to get this call going against Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think what happened was, Dan, because the punt didn't get off on the normal timing, that the lineman released to go downfield to cover. And as you know, the interior lineman can't go downfield to cover it until after the kick.
Illegal batting of the punted ball during the kick by a member of the kicking team. Penalty declined. First down the other way.
Boy, Dan, is that the illegal batting signal when the referee goes with 2 hands on the shoulders? They
Yeah.
got so many signals I can't keep them.
A hand to the top of the head is the illegal receiver downfield.
Well, I knew it was the hand going up.
Number 20 is Andre Waters as he advanced the football, but it'll be 1st and 10 for New Orleans, and they're already up by 10.
A key element to a good punt is getting a good snap. Here, Horan did not get a good snap, but he's a good athlete. He comes up with it. It could have been a safety if that ball had gone out of the end zone.
A fine play by Horan, but New Orleans on 1st down. Tyrone Anthony. Tyrone Anthony around the left side. Substantial yardage. Let's give him about 7 on the play.
Well, the Saints are starting to go into their bag of tricks. That's not what you would call a normal play on their offense, and Tyrone Anthony is usually not a key performer in that backfield. A little surprising, I think, to the Eagles on that run.
Tyrone, their 3rd-round draft choice last year, has not seen much action. This is Wayne Wilson, and he darts up and he picks up the 1st down. Wayne Wilson, 6 yards on the carry. Thomas Struthers in on the tackle. Green Bay's out in front of Detroit, 10-3, a second quarter score. A 7-3 San Francisco lead as they try to rebound from last week's loss. Indianapolis winless, 14-7 over Buffalo, winless as well. Flags down. Flags down. Wayne Wilson has the ball. Let me correct myself. I forgot Indianapolis won the ball game. Indianapolis going into this weekend 1-3, but Buffalo 0-4. Rod Dowhauer will get mad at me for that.
That looked like our favorite penalty, Dan.
Well, this goes against the Eagles.
But was it encroachment or was it offsides? That's what I want to know.
Well, let's listen to Gordon McCarter.
Offside. Number 93, defense. 5-yard penalty, 1st down, 5.
You know, those 2 penalties are so similar. I know Marion Campbell wondering what happened.
Thomas Struthers flagged. That's 5 yards the easy way. On 1st down, Dave Wilson to Wayne Wilson. And he runs right into Kenny Clark, but breaks free. Still, maybe only a yard for Wayne Wilson. Greg Brown finally makes the hit from his right defensive end position.
At number 71 for the Eagles, Kenny Clark is one of the top nose tackles in the game. And if you can't control that nose tackle, you're going to have a tough time running the ball. You know, the Saints center really is at a disadvantage because he only weighs 248 pounds. And that's small for an NFL center.
That's Joel Hilgenberg. Has a brother that plays with a Bear and an uncle, for the Bears rather, and an uncle that used to play with the Vikings. Wally Hilgenberg, the linebacker. Wayne Wilson Cuts upfield on second down. Picks up maybe a couple. Still be short, brings up a third down for the Saints. Philadelphia's defense refusing to buckle.
I just got a note here, Dan, that Reggie White has taken his pads off, and he's going to be out at least for the rest of this half. That's a blow to that Eagle defense.
Reggie White bruised his ribs. Has not been back into the ball game. The X-rays have turned out to be negative. So no broken ribs, and we'll have to see if Reggie White returns in the second half. Third down, 2 yards to go. This is Wayne Wilson, and he doesn't get it. The Eagles are there, and there's Kenny Clark.
Kenny Clark is so tough. Saints came out with 2 tight ends that run formation. Wayne Wilson had a chance to either go up the middle or break it outside, but he had nowhere to go because number 71, Kenny Clark, who looks like he's getting a little tired, and I guess so, because you got to be tired with all that pushing and pulling in the middle.
One of the Eagles is down on the field right now. That's Greg Brown.
Oh, they can't afford to lose him.
16 sacks a year ago for Greg Brown. And now he's being attended to by the Eagles staff, and he appears to be in pain, but at least he's up.
That's their leading trainer on the left there, Dan, Otho Davis, who is well known around the league.
Reggie White not looking very happy as
Yeah, you can see he's bandaged there right in the mid area. I was going to say midriff.
he's got an ice pack strapped onto his injured ribs, and now Greg Brown. So these are the 2 starting defensive ends here for the Eagles. Gene, how about the way the Eagles have played defense? Twice New Orleans has been down here, and now the Eagles rather playing tough defense.
Oh, they're tough.
Second quarter score between New England and Cleveland. They're tied. Miami still out in front of Pittsburgh. It's a second quarter score. They're up by 7. Well, Greg Brown heads to the Eagles sideline. Evan Cooper made the interception to stop a New Orleans scoring drive, and now the Eagle defense is going to force the Saints into a field goal attempt.
Well, the Saints offense has been very successful so far, and one of the surprises, at least to me, Dan, is the fact that Wayne Wilson has already rushed for 11 times for 41 yards. Now, 41 yards is not surprising, but 11 times in the first half is.
Wayne Wilson, I guess you'd have to call him always there. Every time that he's needed, he comes through with a big game, and again, today he's off to a good start. Well, Morton Anderson, the ball will be spotted at the 23.5-yard line, so let's make this a 33.5-yard kick. As you can see for yourself, it's right down the middle, and he's added to the New Orleans Saints lead. Morton Anderson puts the Saints out in front. It's now 13-0. Morton Anderson delivered on the 33-yard field goal attempt. It's now 13-0. The Saints in command, but a couple of good defensive series by the Eagles limited the Saints to only 3 points. Anderson, a high kickoff, fielded by Herman Hunter at the 2-yard line, and he goes to the left side. Johnny Poe makes contact right at the 20-yard line, and here comes some more flags. Tough to do something in the kicking game without a flag.
It's tough for the Eagles to get going with penalties being called against them.
This will be an illegal use of hands against the Eagles.
But the Eagles have to feel fortunate that it's only 13-0.
Illegal block above the waist, number 90 on the receiving team. Half a distance, first down.
That's Aaron Brown, the linebacker from Ohio State. And Randall Cunningham starts in the hole. Green Bay, 2 touchdowns out in front of Detroit. And Cleveland now 14-7, second quarter score over New England. First and 10 from their own 9-yard line. Cunningham to throw. He's got an open receiver. That's his tight end Spagnuolo. And John Spagnuolo picks up 9.
Well, it's clear that the coaching staff has confidence in number 12, Randall Cunningham, because a lot of veteran teams with veteran quarterbacks do not like to throw this close to the end zone. But at the same time, the Eagles know they have to get some points on the board this half. And with only 8 minutes and 35 seconds left, they better get going soon.
And they could use a good drive just for Cunningham's confidence. Randall trips and falls, and we've got another flag down on the field. Very nearly a busted play. Ernest Jackson on the carry, but some confusion on the handoff. They pick up the flag, and
yeah, it was what they call the old inadvertent flag.
no penalty on the play. How's this, Gene, for disparity in yards?
Well, that's why we see it's 13-0 New Orleans.
First down for Philadelphia. Under pressure. In the grasp. James Geathers had Cunningham in the grasp.
Well, that's got to be a very difficult call for the official to make, especially when you have a scrambling quarterback like Randall Cunningham. Here you see number 97 coming straight up the middle. Somebody made a mistake on that Eagle offensive line. Randall Cunningham wanted to scramble, but the official said, no, 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 you're in the grasp and you're down.
James Geathers gets the Saints' second sack of the day. Ron Jaworski talking it over on the sidelines. That's Ted Marchibroda, the Eagles' offensive coordinator. Cunningham brings it back down. He's running with the ball, and he picks up positive yardage. Randall Cunningham, who coming into today, surprisingly, the Eagles' leading rusher.
What an athlete, Dan. Number 12. When Randall Cunningham goes back to pass, all kinds of things can happen. We've seen fumbles, we've seen interceptions, and now we've seen his first scramble of the day. There you see his left ankle, which has tape on the outside. He told me that he's been keeping tape on it all week, even when he's asleep, just to make sure it doesn't swell up on him again.
You had a nice visit with Randall Cunningham at his hotel last night?
Oh, he's fun to talk to.
A lofty 7.8-yard average, but this time he's going to throw, and it's intercepted. That's Johnny Poe. Johnny Poe with his first interception of the year takes it in for the score. And the Saints here in the second quarter blowing this game wide open.
Well, the Eagles look like they were just about to put something together on that drive. They make a first down, and all of a sudden, boom, 6 points the other way.
Morton Anderson delivers. Morton Anderson's extra point makes it 20-0 in favor of the Saints.
There you see Poe on the screen. He's backpedaling. There's an out pattern being run there by Greg Garrity, but the ball was overthrown. Poe comes in and makes the interception, and that has to be a defensive back's dream, to make that interception, run it back for a touchdown, and to get a chance to spike the ball. But he's cool. He's cool.
The new fake spike that time by Johnny Poe.
There's Cunningham. He comes out and he looks to his left right away, which lets Poe know that the ball's coming in that direction. A poor throw that time, and Poe does the rest. You know, one factor that may be overlooked is the fact that Cunningham's throws may be off because of a bad ankle.
Well, we'll get a chance to talk about this, and you may very well be right with that, and we'll get a chance to talk the next time the Eagles come out to set up offensively after this kickoff. Hey, if you're Marion Campbell, how long do you go with Cunningham? How long do you expose him to this before you run the risk of really damaging a fine player?
Damaging him physically and damaging him mentally, because, you know, once you get down, it's so hard to come back and be confident again.
He's got Ron Jaworski on the sidelines. Marion Campbell, the Eagle head coach, and you know that has to be going through his mind. Randall Cunningham, their second-round draft choice, is really under some early heat. 6:34 left in the second quarter, and Ron Jaworski,
He's got his helmet, Dan.
looks like he's ready to play, and he may come in. Anderson with a deep kickoff. Herman Hunter says, I'll stay here, and we'll start at the 20. And here comes Ron Jaworski.
And this could be a spark that the Eagles have been looking for, because there's still some players on that Eagle squad that think number 7, Ron Jaworski, should be the starting quarterback.
And I cannot fault Marion Campbell one bit in going with this decision. I say smart move.
I think he heard you. You just mentioned it a couple of minutes ago.
Well, Randall Cunningham, not only a youngster, but he's playing hurt. We've showed you his bad ankle. Physically, he's impaired, and he is such a gifted athlete. You see the rushing stats, averaging almost 8 yards a carry. If he's a little bit off, hey, why subject him to this? Not to mention the fact that Ron Jaworski can win the football game for the Eagles.
Well, this game's a long way from being over.
He hands off to Ernest Jackson. But it will not be easy against this New Orleans defense. Ricky Jackson and Scott Pellure.
Yeah, the Saints defense is really very, very excited. But Jaworski's been in experiences like this many times before, and he knows how to settle down on offense to get them back in a groove and get them moving that ball. But it's going to be a challenge because Bruce Clark, Ricky Jackson, and the rest of that Saints defense, they're out for bear today. They're out for Eagles, I guess, huh?
Yeah. They play well, and it gets worse when they've got a 20-point lead. Second down, 8 yards to go. Jaws to throw. Into a crowd, and it's an incompletion. Nearly intercepted, trying to get the ball to John Spagnola.
That time they brought Mike Quick all the way across the backfield and kept him in the block on Whitney Paul, who was blitzing. That's kind of interesting because Mike Quick is one of the most dangerous receivers in the league. And why there's 82, why would you keep him in the block on a Whitney Paul, who's one of the top blitzers in the league? Looks like a poor use of personnel there.
Whitney Paul with 5 sacks already on the season, the former Kansas City Chief. Let's make this 3rd and 8. Jaworski to the shotgun. He's got the protection, and he finds his man, Mike Quick. Mike Quick beyond the 45-yard line.
Now that's where you want Mike Quick on the football field. Mike, who his teammates call Quick 6 for good reason. He was flanked out that time, and he came back in motion. Now he comes upfield. He has to get away from that linebacker first. There he is. He gets away from him, and now he's all by himself. Jaworski delivers, and look at that cut. You can't coach that. You can't teach that. But you can teach a receiver to change hands like he did to keep it away from the defender and get a big first down.
They're asking an awful lot of rookie Jack Del Rio, number 50, to try to cover Mike Quick. On first down, Ernest Jackson. He's outside. Ernest Jackson. Ernest Jackson gets the Eagle first down.
You know, Dan, it's really amazing how one big play can silence a crowd. Before, I could hardly hear myself speak. After Quick makes that big play for a minute there, you can hear a pin drop in here.
Maybe they're tired of yelling.
Well, they've been yelling the entire game, and for good reason. The Saints are up 20-0.
Ron Jaworski is moving the Eagles. As he has done many times before. On first down. Again to Quick. Again to Mike Quick. And Ron Jaworski has sparked the Eagles offensively.
As a receiver, I always like to play against a team that played zone all the time, because once you get behind those linebackers, you got some room to work. Here's Quick coming upfield again on Poe. They're in a zone. That's why Poe let him go. Now, if they were man-to-man, Poe would have followed him. But it's a zone, and Poe let him go to the next man, but the ball came before he got to the next man. That's what you call getting into the seam of the zone.
Terry Hogue on the tackle. Quick's catch, though, close enough for a measurement. And it is an Eagle first down.
You know, the Eagles are a very close-knit team, and this week I was told that Jaworski told the defense, hey, guys, let's hold them to 2. And they said 2 points or 2 touchdowns.
The Eagles have only scored 1 offensive touchdown in 4 ball games. As hard as that is to believe, they've only scored 2 as a team, and of course one of those belongs to Herman Edwards. First down and 10. Again, Jaworski to throw. Another completion to Spagnola, and he's driven out of bounds. And that's going to be very close to the first down, and it may be a first down again for the Eagles.
That's a good point you raised, Dan, about the fact that the Eagle offense has only scored one touchdown. And if you look at the players at the so-called skilled positions, you really have to sort of scratch your head in wonderment. I mean, with Mike Quick, Kenny Jackson, Ernest Jackson, you feel you're going to score a lot of points. But so far, that has yet to be the case.
They do have quality in the receiving positions. Of course, Ernest Jackson, the AFC's leading rusher a year ago, so the talent is there. From the 17, first down. Handoff to Jackson. And some more positive room inside.
That's what we mean about Ernest Jackson being a straight up and down runner. A lot of backs would have taken that ball and bumped to the outside, feeling that pressure, but not Ernest. He just puts his head down, bulls his neck, and runs that ball up the middle. Boy, he's tough.
He is that. He picks up 4 yards on that carry. Ernest Jackson with the fumble early in the ball game. From the 14-yard line, second down. Jaworski intercepted.
Jaworski doesn't believe it. He audibled at the line of scrimmage. He saw a blitz coming. He threw the ball up for grabs, and the wrong man came down with it.
Dave Waymer with a tremendous effort coming up with the football, and Dave Waymer saves the Saints.
There was a blitz coming, and he saw it. Here comes the blitz. You see it on your screen, and there's Haddix, number 26, blocking Ricky Jackson. But Jaworski, the veteran that he is, saw that play, and he called a quick up. And there you see Kenny Jackson going up. The ball's in the air, and Waymer doesn't even know it's coming, but he puts his arm in there and rips it away from him. Boy, what an interception.
A fine effort by Dave Waymer. 3:09 left. It's 20-0 Saints. Dave Waymer with just a fine individual effort gets his second interception of the year.
I talked to Waymer right before the game. He said, Gene, we're going to get this one. I'm ready. We need it.
Remarkable that he came down with that football. Looked like Kenny Jackson might have had a touchdown.
Yeah, Jaworski still steamed over that, too.
On first down. Flags go flying.
Because a lot of times, Dan, they'll call that a tie, and the tie goes to the offensive receiver. Because at one moment, it appeared that both people had the ball.
False start, offense.
Well, Gordon not in a mood to narrow it down. Next week, it's a doubleheader here on CBS. The early game, St. Louis will be at Philadelphia. That game turned around because of the baseball Cardinals in the playoffs. The Giants visit Cincinnati, and the Lions go to RFK. 12:30 Eastern Time, those early games. And then in the late game, Atlanta goes to Seattle. New Orleans visits the Rams. And the 4-0 Bears play the 49ers at Candlestick. Let's make this 1st and 15, and that's Wayne Wilson. Wayne Wilson off the right side. And we'll be under 3 minutes left in the first half. I would think that the Saints would be happy to just put together a couple of first downs and take this lead to the locker room.
Oh, to be sure.
A pickup of 4. This will be 2nd down and 11. A big crowd here in the Superdome at New Orleans is enjoying what they've seen. Their team out front early. Wilson to Wilson. Wayne Wilson on the carry. Just gets up near the 20-yard line. And the clock stops at 2 minutes and 15 seconds as the Eagles take a team timeout. So the Eagles trying to stop the clock so that they can get the ball and try to get some points on the board. Send Dave Wilson over to the sideline to talk to Bum Phillips. Today at halftime, it's the NFL today. Brent Nerve will have scores and highlights of the other games in progress around the National Football League, plus a special feature, Lending a Helping Hand, what some past and present NFL ball players are doing to help the earthquake victims down in Mexico. Lending a Helping Hand, scores and highlights all coming up at halftime as we visit the NFL today. King Hill talking things over with Dave Wilson and Marion Campbell on the far sideline, wondering probably, Gene, what words of wisdom can I pass on to my ball club?
Yeah, to be sure, they've got to be wondering. You know, Marion thinking they were so close to busting out because the team, especially that offense, has been so close to busting out. But the defense has kept them in the games usually, but they've had some bad field position and some great plays by the Saints. We've got some scores too, Dan. That's a surprise.
Yes, Tampa Bay leading Chicago. That is indeed a surprise. The Bears undefeated.
Little hot in Tampa Bay.
Green Bay 20-3 now their lead over Detroit, and Detroit off to a 3-1 start.
Well, Green Bay was due.
Green Bay at 1-3 today, trying to get back into things in the Central. And the Browns out in front of the Patriots. That's 14-10. Cleveland tied for first in the AFC Central. 3rd and 10. To the shotgun. He's sacked. Greg Brown gets in and gets Dave Wilson. 2 minutes, 11 seconds on the clock, and the Eagles will get a shot before halftime, and they may get it from some good field position. The clock begins to run, and New Orleans will be more than happy to let it run down to the 2-minute warning before Brian Hansen has to kick. Well, we're at the 2-minute warning here at the Superdome in New Orleans. What else can you say? It's been all the New Orleans Saints. They enjoy a 20-0 lead. Well, Ron Jaworski, who has moved beyond 23,000 yards in career passing here in the NFL, will get a chance to move his ball club before halftime. We're at the 2-minute warning, and Brian Hansen will have to kick from near his own goal line. Evan Cooper back for the Eagles. Hansen in the Pro Bowl last year representing these Saints. This ball doesn't quite turn over, but it's fielded by Cooper. He's hit immediately. That's Terry Hogue, who Bum Phillips told us yesterday, just a superb cover man.
You won't see better coverage than that, Dan, because he had to get away from 2 guys at that time. Did so, ran down the field, and still made the tackle.
We've got a flag down on the field thrown late.
You know, a lot of times those guys get away, and then they get down there and still miss. But Hogue, to his credit, put the hat on him.
Hansen came up with a 44-yarder that time. I tell you, that's when you got a great leg, when you get 44 yards out of a punt and it goes end over end. That's just brute strength getting the ball that far downfield.
Well, if the penalty is against the Eagles, it's going to be another in a series of bad blows to them, because they were about 2 first downs away from at least a field goal opportunity, because Paul McFadden has a very strong leg.
Indeed. The Eagles appear to think the penalty is against them, as their offensive team is almost headed for the Texas border.
Well, right now, Marion Campbell is thinking that there are 2 halves to a game, and maybe the second half will be our half.
I think Marion Campbell is thinking as well that with 1 minute and 51 seconds.
Illegal block above the waist. Number 39 on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
That's Major Everett, one of their top special teamers. He's very aggressive, and sometimes that aggressiveness can get you in trouble, Dan.
Well, once again, the Eagles on almost every possession get penalized and have to start farther back. They've now moved the football back inside the 40-yard line, back to their own 34. So,
but I still expect them to go to their hurry-up offense.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. The man running their offense has the experience it takes. He's been here before. Jaworski from the shotgun. Complete downfield. That's his tight end, John Spagnola.
Well, he really has some soft hands, and he demonstrated it there, because that pass was behind him, but he turned around and put those mitts on him.
Spagnola, the Eagles' leading receiver, coming into today's ball game. Jaworski nearly intercepted. It's a good thing he put that ball up in the air as Dave Waymer almost got another one.
It was interesting to see Ron buy a little time by scrambling out there that time. Ron, not known as a scrambler, but he wants to get the job done because he is known as a winner.
Jaworski showing some good feel for the pocket, as rather than just take off on an uncontrolled run, just danced off to the side. A couple more scores before the Eagles run a play. Let's see if we can get one in. 21-10, Indianapolis opens it up over the Bills. That's a second quarter score. It's the second quarter here, and it's 2nd and 10 for the Eagles and Jaworski. A reception. That's number 82, Mike Quick, and that'll be good for another Eagle first down.
Well, the Saints are bringing number 51, Whitney Paul, every play. And Paul is being blocked by 26 Haddix, and he's the one that's so slow getting back, and that's why the Eagles couldn't get the play off as quickly as they would have liked to.
The Eagles with still all 3 of their timeouts remaining. This time, go downfield, another completion, and that's Spagnola once again, and this time Jaworski stops the clock.
A lot of fans wonder why it looks so easy when a team gets into their hurry-up offense.
I want you to explain this because no one else can. I'm anxious to hear the answer.
Okay, well, it's real simple. The reason is because the defense, which normally plays back anyway, is playing back even more. So as a result, go down 10 yards and stop, and usually you'll be open. Go 20 yards, you might have trouble. But 10 yards, you can usually get open.
How many times is it that someone's walked up to you and said, would you please tell me why in the prevent defense it doesn't seem to prevent anything?
That's an age-old question in the NFL, and I get asked that everywhere I go, Dan. Feeling great, and I think that whole Eagle team feels like that there was a big weight just taken off of their shoulders. And I think you'll see a different team in the second half.
Marion Campbell, I think, will have no trouble in finding some words for his team. Meanwhile, Bum Phillips has to tell his ball club that this game is very much still up for grabs in the National Football League. 13 points is not a great deal.
Yeah, well, Bum's got to be a little concerned because he had his team at such an emotional peak at the beginning of the game, and that's what enabled them to jump out to that 20-0 lead. But now it's 20-7 and 2 touchdowns, and the Saints could be losers, so they've got to be concerned going into the locker room at halftime about that emotional intensity.
And meanwhile, Randall Cunningham didn't have much of a first half.
No, he was only 2 for 7 for only 6 yards, but he threw 2 bad interceptions.
So Randall Cunningham, who started this game for the Philadelphia Eagles, has a bad ankle, had a bad start. So it was Ron Jaworski who got the call from his head coach, Marion Campbell, and he has responded. 20-7, the Saints out in front, and this crowd in New Orleans has quieted.
Yeah, they were so loud for a while I couldn't even hear myself think. But then after that touchdown, it got so quiet, you could hear the proverbial pin drop.
The proverbial pin, I think you're right on in that assessment of today's ball game. John Spagnola having quite a day as well. He has the touchdown for the Eagles that has narrowed this what was once a 20-point Saint lead. 20-7, New Orleans out front. We're back at the Superdome in Louisiana, where the Saints have a big 20-7 lead over the Eagles. And I'm Dan Dierdorf and Gene Fugit. How about if we get right to the halftime highlights? It was all New Orleans here in the first half. How about if we roll some tape and take a look at what happened?
Yeah, that first touchdown was quite a play. Here you see the safety, Ellis. He's back in the middle, but he got faked out a little bit, and that allowed Eugene Goodlow to get behind him to make a big touchdown catch to get the Saints on the board early.
It was an Anderson field goal that got them out in front 13-0, but then Johnny Poe makes the big interception to make it 20-0.
Well, Cunningham looked left the whole time, and Greg Garrity and he couldn't get it together. Number 25, Johnny Poe, comes in and makes a big interception. Now, usually when a defensive back makes an interception, Dan, he can't wait to spike the ball. I mean, spiking the ball is so much fun, and there's Johnny Poe, but he's too cool.
Well, Ron Jaworski then replaced Randall Cunningham. He drove them down the field, but a tremendous interception by Dave Waymer.
Well, the Saints had the blitz on. Jaworski called the audible, and Waymer didn't even see the ball, number 44, but he put his arm in there and he came up with it. That was another big play for the Saints.
And then Ron Jaworski gets the Eagles on the board. He finds his tight end.
Well, it's only the second touchdown that the Eagles have scored on offense all season, and number 88, John Spagnola, knows how to get open in that end zone, and boy, you can see the relief It's like a big weight went off their shoulders.
Well, both teams are back out on the field. We're getting ready for the start of the second half. Philadelphia is going to try to get back in this ball game. They're down by 13. The Eagles will receive the kickoff to start the second half. Morton Anderson will kick off. Deep, Herman Hunter. It is 20-7. New Orleans out in front. And we'll see if Ron Jaworski can continue to move this Eagle offensive team here at the start of the second half. He got the touchdown pass to John Spagnola just as the first half came to a close, and we'll see if that in some shape, manner, or form ignited this Eagle team.
I'll also be curious to see if the Saints can play with the kind of intensity they played in the first half.
Anderson puts it deep into the end zone. Herman Hunter says, no way. A wise decision. And Jaws will get it started from his own 20-yard line.
Well, Dan, in the first half statistics, as you would guess, mostly says New Orleans. For passing, the Saints had 104 yards, but the Eagles came back where they had a -9 before Jaworski came in the game, and they ended up with 95 yards. You see Jaworski threw for 104, but with the sacks, you end up with a little less on the net.
Ron Jaworski starts for Philadelphia. Randall Cunningham given a rest. Michael Haddix, his lone setback. Jaworski downfield to Spagnola. And again, Big John is in the open and looking and go. John Spagnola breaking some tackles, some sloppy tackling by the Saints, and he's got the Eagle first down.
I really get excited when the tight end starts moving like that. Usually the tight end has lots of room to work over the middle because he has linebackers. Here you see him coming across, number 88. He makes the catch, and now he's being chased by linebackers. Big John Spagnola, good move. He picks up a block by Kenny Jackson. He cuts back. John better watch out. They're going to have him at wide receiver soon.
You have to wonder if a game the Saints at one point in time in the first quarter thought was going to be a laugher isn't going to end up to be more than they bargained for. First down at the 42. Jaworski to Ernest Jackson. He cuts back. Ernest Jackson beyond midfield. Johnny Poe finally makes the hit.
And you got Saints standing around, looking around, Dan, and that's not the way they were in the first half. The first half, the Saints were flying all over the field. And the question is, can they get going again? Because the Eagles are here to play in this half. I told you in the first half that Marion Campbell is going to tell his team there's two halves, and the second half is going to be our half.
Ernest Jackson will have to carry the balance of the rushing attack over the season for Philadelphia. He's doing a good job of it today, and on second and short, he gets it again. He drives forward, and he'll be very close to an Eagle first down. We'll have to check the spot, and an awful lot of Saints are standing around.
You know, I guess if any head coach really knew the answer to how to keep his team at an emotional peak, he would probably be the most successful coach of all time. In fact, he probably wouldn't have to coach. He could just sell the secret.
It's a never-ending problem, and the Saints got off to such a quick start. Their crowd was so emotional, and now they're allowing the Eagles to get back into it, and it is another Eagle first down. Jaworski continues to move this ball club.
On that last short yardage play, you can see what an extra tight end can do. There's number 26, Haddix, coming on Ricky Jackson. But Ricky, even though he got backed up off the line, still came up and made the tackle. But too late, first down Eagles.
They didn't need a lot for the first down, and sometimes in that situation, you don't need a bone crusher of a block to be effective. Some movement up front. John Spagnola got a head start. And now Ricky Jackson decides to have a little conversation with Mark Dennard, the center.
Well, you got to forgive John. He's got to be excited because his favorite quarterback, Ron Jaworski's in the game. But then again, you don't expect a mistake from a Yale man, do you?
You and your guys from up east.
Encroachment, number 88, offense. He made contact.
John Spagnola being very candid with us yesterday, talking about what it means to a veteran receiver when there's a youngster put in a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, and especially a tight end. It takes a while for a quarterback to learn how to use a tight end. It's easy to go back and hit that out because it's so obvious. But hitting the tight end over the middle where there's so many defenders takes a little bit of experience. And I think that's why John is happy when Ron comes into the game.
John Spagnola had 65 catches a year ago for the Eagles. First down and 15. Jaworski downfield. The ball pops loose, but I think they're going to call it a dead ball. I think they'll rule it down. Penalty flag?
Yeah, there's a flag, looked like around the line of scrimmage.
Back at the 40-yard line. The Eagles are making it tough on themselves. Ricky Jackson says, I'm not sure what it is, but we'll move them back. How's that, an umpire with number 100 on the back?
Yeah.
Holding number 65. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Well, that's center Mark Dennard, who just had words with Ricky Jackson the play before, and a lot of penalties in this game.
Yeah, that has been a lot of penalties. 14 penalties. That's a lot.
Well, Philadelphia continues to march backwards. They put themselves into a 1st and 25 situation. They must get all the way to the 38-yard line of New Orleans for a first down. Jaworski on the long count. The screen was set up to Ernest Jackson, but Whitney Paul, applying the pressure, forced a bad throw.
Well, Whitney Paul came in on the blitz that time, and sometimes you like a blitz for a screenplay because everybody comes upfield and you can get behind him. But that time they just couldn't complete the play. There's 51 Whitney Paul. He plays that right outside linebacker, and he's not the biggest linebacker at only 218 pounds. But believe it or not, at one time, he was a defensive end when he played at Kansas City.
Tell me about it.
I couldn't believe it.
I have played across from Whitney Paul before, and he was at a bit of a disadvantage. I only outweighed him by about 80 pounds, I think.
I bet you killed him too, Dan.
No, he's a very strong player. Jaworski, 2nd and long, almost intercepted. That time Mike Quick did a good job of breaking up the pass. Willie Tullis might have had an interception for the Saints.
Well, that's why a quarterback can have confidence throwing to an all-pro receiver like Mike Quick. Here, Quick had the single coverage. He breaks outside and uses his speed to get upfield. Now, this is a delicate throw where he tries to drop it in there, but the throw is underthrown, and Quick still almost came up with that. What an athlete.
Mike Quick, though, not running away from Willie Tullis. He was with him shoulder to shoulder. It is 3rd and very long. 3rd and 25. The Saints go to the 4-man rush. Jaworski. Under pressure, throws it away.
A wise move by the veteran quarterback. That time he had lots of pressure on him. You're not going to get 25 yards very easily on 3rd down, so he threw it away. But unfortunately, the Eagles took themselves out of that series with that penalty.
He was being chased by Jim Wilkes and Bruce Clark back in the backfield. And that's a point well made, Gene. Penalties kill the Eagles on that series. Mike Horan, a fine high punt, drives Martin back inside his 20. He's got some room. He turns the corner, but penalty flags are down. Son of a gun, it's getting tough to run a kicking play here without a penalty.
And Reggie Wilkes made almost a saving tackle because he was just about to turn that corner and find his blocking wall. You know, Eric Martin was only a 7th-round draft choice, and now here he is starting at wide
12
receiver.
men on the field at the snap of the football.
Well, now it's up to the Eagles as to whether they want to punt again. A 5-yard penalty against the Saints comes a long way from being a first down. As it's 4th down, 25 yards to go.
But Marion just gave him a signal.
Yeah, he said, go ahead and kick it away, guys. Martin got some good yardage on that return, so that's going to force them to kick again, and that's kind of a break for Philadelphia.
Well, I don't know, but Campbell must certainly think that his team is in excellent condition because a lot of coaches would not want that team to have to run down there again. I mean, when you run down full speed to cover a punt, I don't care what kind of condition you're in, you're a little out of breath. So maybe, you know, he's been working the team very hard in practice because I've seen this kind of decision backfire because the team was so tired they didn't get down and cover and it got run back on them. We'll have to see how they get down this time.
Although you'd think that the heat and the conditioning might not be too big of a factor here in the dome where you don't have the sun shining on you. Let's make it 4th and 20. Horan gets to do it all over again. Eric Martin is deep. He signals fair catch. And inside his own 20 at the 18-yard line, Eric Martin downs the ball.
Well, now you see why Campbell's head coach and I'm up here in the booth.
Smart play that time by the Eagles. They pick up some positive yardage. 20-7, New Orleans out front. Next Sunday on CBS, it's a doubleheader Sunday. The early game following the NFL today will be St. Louis against the Eagles. The Giants visit Cincinnati, and Detroit goes to Washington. Then in the second game, the later game, Atlanta and Seattle, New Orleans and the Raiders, and the Bears 49ers.
Well, the Eagle defense really has to reassert themselves here and get the Eagles back into the game by shutting out the Saints in this series.
Wayne Wilson looks for running room. He finds a couple of yards, gets across the 20.
Well, the Saints are going back to the basics. When you want to get that offense going again, best thing to do is to hand it off to a guy that you know that can carry it and get those big guys up front to move them out.
He picks up 4 on that carry. And I think in talking about the Eagle defense, they have played so well all year. And they're now in a situation where they have to do it once again.
Well, they're hoping to get Reggie White back this half, and that'll be a big plus.
2nd and 5 for the Saints. Dave Wilson goes to the far sideline. He's got the completion. That's Jeff Groff. He's got the completion, and that is going to be good for a New Orleans first down.
Well, Jeff Groff is their number 3 wide receiver, but they like him a lot. He comes in and makes a big catch. That time, again, they're working on Albert Fowles, replacing the injured Roynell Young at corner for the Eagles.
And that was the way that New Orleans started this ball game, going against Fowles.
But they better be careful.
On first down, Wayne Wilson. Flag goes down, and Wilson doesn't get much. Trying to get around the corner. He's met from the inside by Mike Reichenbach, and this is going to work against New Orleans.
Right, I was saying, Dan, you really got to be careful when you try to pick on an individual in that Eagle defense, because they have a way of covering up for him and coming back and making a big play when you're trying to pick on him. The penalties so far, you got New Orleans have 9 penalties for 72 yards, while the Eagles have 6 penalties for 44 yards, but yet New Orleans is leading.
Holding, number 67, offense, repeat, first down.
Stan Brock, their right tackle, gets New Orleans' 10th penalty on the day. So we're racking up some impressive statistics in the penalty column.
Well, that's what happened to the Eagle drive last time. A penalty knocked them out. Now they've got decent field position. If the Eagles can keep the Saints pinned in, the Eagles will get the ball back looking pretty good around midfield.
If you're a New Orleans fan, even though you're up 20-7, you've got to be a little uncomfortable. On 1st and 20. Dave Wilson throws it to Wayne Wilson. Wayne Wilson, a fine open field tackle by Reggie Wilkes. Let's look at some scores from around the league. 12-3, Tampa Bay still leading the Bears.
Shocking.
27-3, Green Bay opening up their lead over the Lions.
Tough Central Division battle.
Well, I guess so. 10-3, the 49ers out in front of the winless Falcons.
49ers still having their problems.
Dave Wilson, 2nd and 15, completes it to Wayne Wilson, who goes into an early spin. Up near the 30-yard line is Wayne Wilson.
We got some more scores. The Colts taking a bigger lead now over the Buffalo Bills, still trying to find that first win. Cleveland over New England. And boy, that must be a tough one down in Miami. That's a replay of last year's championship game in the AFC.
17-17. 8:39 and counting in the third quarter. 3rd and 10 for the Saints. Under pressure, Dave Wilson goes down, and there's another flag. Here comes another flag. Flags everywhere back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Eagles got number 91, Reggie White, back into the game, and that's got to help their pass rush.
A holding call against New Orleans, which I would assume will be declined by the Eagles, and that'll force the Saints to punt.
Boy, Reggie is big, Dan. Woo!
Reggie is big. Reggie had to leave the game in the first half with some bruised ribs. You can see he's got the flak jacket on underneath his jersey. You can see it stretching it there at the sides.
Holding is 71 and 64 on the offense. Penalty decline. Fourth down.
Did you say on 51 and 64?
No, 71 and 64. Petey Perreault and Dave Lafari, left guard and left tackle, respectively.
They were
Both
holding
good up.
Reggie.
They were holding Reggie, is right.
Oh, my goodness. Two guys had to hold him.
Brian Hansen. A high, towering punt. Evan Cooper fields it at his 33, and down he goes. A 45-yard punt. How's that for some hang time? And James Haynes makes the tackle.
It's got to be a scary feeling sitting down there waiting for a punt that was kicked so high. Looks like there might be a flag on the play, or
There is
another airplane.
Another flag back at the line of scrimmage, and we'll probably have a Saint leaving early. After that kick and after that return, you'd think they might want them to punt again.
Ineligible downfield. Number 54, kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Repeat fourth down.
Well, you called it, Dan. That was Alvin Tolles, the rookie linebacker from Tennessee. A little anxious, getting away a little too soon, and I don't think Bum is thrilled right now.
Alvin Tolles, the #1 draft choice of the New Orleans Saints here in 1985. A small linebacker, only 6'1", 211. But boy, does he have some quicks.
That's right. Very fast, and they like him because they think he could be a blitzer in the mold of Whitney Paul, who's been so successful at that outside linebacker spot.
Well, Alvin needs to harness some of that quickness, at least for a second or two, until the punt is away. Hansen to punt again. The line of scrimmage, their own 19. Evan Cooper, another high kick, drives Cooper back. He's going to try the right side, but the Saints with outstanding coverage.
That coverage was outstanding. Led by number 50, Jack Del Rio, another rookie linebacker.
Well, Hansen shows why he goes to the Pro Bowl, a 51-yarder, and the Saints still hold their lead. We've talked about our NFL doubleheader next Sunday. How about next Saturday? CBS Sports presents college football. The interstate rivalry between the Michigan Wolverines and the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan State, which almost upset Iowa yesterday, and Michigan the winner over Wisconsin. Some ball game, live 2:30 Eastern next Saturday on CBS. First down, Philadelphia. Ron Jaworski still at the helm. He goes downfield, wide open. Number 86, Greg Garrity.
I don't know what happened, Dan, but you can't get much more open than that.
Johnny Poe, the cornerback to that side.
Well, let's see how he did it on the replay. Here's a play action. Fake play action means a fake run. Jaworski does that to Haddix. He looks to his left and lays out a beautiful ball. And Garrity, wide open. What was Johnny Poe thinking about? Boy, he tried to take his head off.
And very nearly missed the tackle. Garrity picks up the Philadelphia first down in New Orleans territory. At the 36. Jaworski, Ernest Jackson. Ernest Jackson doesn't get outside as Glenn Red makes the tackle after Ricky Jackson was caught to the inside, a loss of 1.
Well, it looked like the Eagles tried to run a bit of a misdirection play. And I didn't even see an Eagle blocker getting out in front of him because the right side pulls to the left. You see him going to the left, and then here come the pullers. And Jackson, who gets kicked, tripped, but he still gets around that ball and comes in to fall on Jackson. Boy, kind of late, too.
Glenn Red came all the way out from the inside to make that tackle, and it's a good thing he did. 2nd and 12. Jaworski completes another one to Spagnuolo. And John Spagnuolo approaches the first down. He'll be a yard or two short.
Well, there's room inside, and Spagnuolo is finding it.
Why is it that in pressure situations, veteran quarterbacks love to go to their tight end?
Because it's a natural mismatch inside. Usually the linebackers are trying to cover the tight end, and linebackers usually are about 20 pounds heavier and a couple of steps slower, which gives the tight end an advantage once he clears them. He can usually curl around him and get open.
with 7 catches on the day. Gets the Eagles to within 2 of the first down. 3rd and 2. And Ernest Jackson hit at the line of scrimmage. Hit on the line of scrimmage by Jim Wilkes. And he's not going to get it. Now it's the Saint defense that came up with a big play when they had to. We may get a measurement. As soon as everyone gets up, we'll find out where the ball is to be spotted.
Boy, Dan, I don't know if that was the side I would run it on, but Ricky Jackson and Bruce Clark over there, boy, I'd think about going left. But most teams are right-handed, and you can see how tough it is to run against that side against the Saints. Here's Ricky Jackson coming in there, and boy, there's some bodies over there.
Well, it's 4th down and a full yard for the Eagles, and down by 13. There's no doubt that they'll go for it, but Jaworski has some confusion and takes a timeout. Ron Jaworski takes the timeout, goes over to talk to Marion Campbell and Ted Marchibroda. A critical 4th down for the Eagles when we return. Well, from the 28-yard line of New Orleans, up to this point, the play of the game for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Dan Dierdorf, and along with Gene Fugit, we've got an Eagle Ball Club trying to get back into this ball game. 20-7, the Saints with the lead. On 4th down. Jaworski to throw. Under pressure, Ron Jaworski throws an incompletion. The Saint defensive line all over him.
Well, that's a call that's easy to second guess, but I liked it because he had a chance to draw the Saints off sides. He had a long count. He tried to draw him. It didn't work. But then usually when you have a long count like that, the defense is so tense that they're going to go for the first run fake, which they did. Unfortunately, Jaworski could not complete the pass.
Jaworski looked shaken up as he left the field.
And now it's up to the Eagle defense as usual for Philadelphia.
As usual is right. Wayne Wilson in the arms of Kenny Clark, the nose tackle, gets a couple, and as you can hear, the Saint crowd not very pleased with that call.
Yeah, well, Ron Jaworski is explaining what happened. At least he didn't throw an interception because he's had quite a day so far. Meanwhile, the Saints will be going back to their ace formation. That's their one-back formation that they've been so successful in the first half so far.
And don't underestimate your point of not throwing the interception. I mean, the 4th down incompletion, a lot of quarterbacks might have thrown it up for grabs.
Oh, no question.
2nd and 8, Dave Wilson. Has a completion. That's his tight end, Hobie Brenner. Hobie Brenner has a Saint first down.
Well, that was Gary Cobb, number 50, a linebacker again, trying to keep up with a tight end, and that's a tough job for a linebacker. You got to play that run, and you got to play the pass. And that time, Cobb was just a step behind, but he still was able to make the tackle.
Hobie Brenner is the Saints' leading receiver. Two teams that like their tight ends in the passing game. From the 41, first down. On the screen, Wayne Wilson. And these Eagles do not give up. They fly to the football, and that time only a pickup of 3 for Wilson.
Well, that was almost a naked screen that time. They started out with 2 backs in the backfield. Then they sent number 22, Tyrone Anthony, out to the flank to the right. With 2 flankers on the right, they both cleared out the zone, and then they tried to run a screen to the same side, but the linemen couldn't get out there, and maybe that's because their timing still is not what it should be because they're not used to playing together on that offensive line.
And Reggie Wilkes, the linebacker to that side, shadowing Wayne Wilson perfectly. Followed him all the way out. And no one there to block him, he makes the tackle. It's 2nd and 7. Wilson again. keeping it on the ground. Let's give him 5 on that carry. Number 24, Ray Ellis, the strong safety, in on that stop, as well as Rich Kranek, the outside linebacker.
Well, there's Earl Campbell, who we expected to see some today in this running situation. And this is a perfect situation for Earl Campbell because they're trying to run and control the ball. But Bum Phillips is staying with Wayne Wilson, who's been having quite a game so far.
And Bum Phillips has received his share of criticism for bringing Earl Campbell here to New Orleans from Houston. On third down, under pressure, Greg Brown gets the sack, and down goes Dave Wilson. Greg Brown, the 4th sack of the day for the Saints.
Well, I wonder about that call, Dan. They have been running the ball pretty successfully. It was 3rd and short, 3rd and 2 yards, and they go back for a deep drop pass. And there's number 98, big Greg Brown, thundering up the middle. There's 50, Gary Cobb, and now they've got to punt it to the Eagles.
A great story about Greg Brown. He was found working construction, invited for a tryout, and the rest is history, so to speak. 16 sacks a year ago. Brian Hansen. Evan Cooper lets it bounce. It's in the end zone. That'll be a touchback. Cooper wisely letting that ball go, and it paid off. A 58-yard punt, though, for Brian Hansen. Greg Brown and the Eagles try to come back. It's 20-7. A minute and 58 seconds left in the third quarter. And Philadelphia desperately trying to get back in this ball game. The Saints flirting with disaster.
Well, the Saints, have found out that they can't turn it on and turn it off. They came out at such a high emotional peak to begin the game. Got out to a big 20-0 lead. The Eagles came back to get a touchdown. It's been right just like that the whole second half. So now we're about finished the third quarter, less than 2 minutes to go. Eagles still trying to get back on the board.
First down at the 20. 2 backs in the backfield. Jaworski fakes. And his receiver, Garrity, fell on the play. He was open.
There's a look at number 35, Earl Campbell, the man who many thought would come here and lead this team into the playoffs. Other people wondered why he came. Earl is still trying to get adjusted into the Saints system and into the town of New Orleans. He's living in a hotel by himself. Hasn't made a lot of friends on the team yet. But the reason he's still playing, Dan, is he says he wants to get a Super Bowl ring. And he thinks that Bum Phillips and the Oilers, Bum Phillips and the Saints can do it. It's not the Oilers anymore.
2nd and 10. Ron Jaworski completes it again to Spagnola. John Spagnola, always open across the middle.
I know John has to feel good. There was days when I was playing tight end, Dan, where I thought that on every pass play I could get open. And I think John is starting to get that feeling. He's caught 8 balls already, most of them in that middle area where all you have to do is duck that linebacker, and if you have a quarterback with guts, he'll throw it in there because it can be a risky throw. But Jaworski, he's not afraid to take risks.
4 yards needed for the Eagle first down. Quick in motion. Jaworski finds Mike Quick. Mike Quick drives upfield, and that's another Eagle first down. Anytime he touches the football, it could go all the way.
The defense has got to be nervous anytime that Mike Quick is on the field. You see him coming at you in motion. He'll go up and make it out, but watch what he does after he catches the ball. He just waits for that defensive man to go by him, and Johnny Poe is trying to catch up to him, but Spagnola came back and gave him a little lick there.
How is that for body control?
Mike Quick.
Aptly named. Ron Jaworski. The Saints across the line of scrimmage. Ernest Jackson with the football. Jim Wilkes again was across the line. Jim Wilkes flagged earlier for encroachment, and I think we're going to get it again. So this will make it 1st and 5 for Philadelphia.
Jaworski has always been very good at varying his cadence. A lot of quarterbacks go up to the line and they always go, hut, hut. It's always the same.
Number 94 defense. 5-yard penalty, 1st and 5.
But Jaworski has a way of varying that. So sometimes he'll go up the line and go hut, and then he'll wait and then go hut again. And I think that the Saints, instead of watching the ball like their coach tells them to do, they listen for the quarterback and get caught off sides.
Only 5 yards necessary for an Eagle first down. Ernest Jackson gets very close. And that will be the last play of the third quarter. No one has scored. This has been the halftime score of 20-7, and that's the end of the third quarter. And the score is 20-7. We now pause for a word from your local station. This will be the first play of the fourth quarter. Second down and 1 for Philadelphia. They trail by 13. Ron Jaworski to throw. Way over everyone. He's trying to find Spagnuolo, and that ball overthrown by yards. Spagnuolo, though, well covered.
Well, the Saints finally got the message that the Eagles are going to be looking for Spagnuolo over the middle. But that's okay for the Eagles because Jaworski will now start to look more to his outside receivers, because that time Mike Quick was streaking over that post area, but Ron couldn't get it to him.
And I like that call on 2nd and 1. Hey, why not go for the big play? You still have third and short yardage, which is what they have right now. Try for the big play.
Especially if you need 2 touchdowns to win.
Haddix and Ernest Jackson. Ernest Jackson gets the Eagle first down.
You know, the Eagles are still trying to take this crowd out of the game. That's always important for a visiting team because it can be very distracting to an offensive player.
Let's look at some scores. How's this? Chicago 13-12, a fourth quarter score, and a tight one in Tampa. Green Bay pouring it to the Lions 41-3. And San Francisco 17-10 over Atlanta. And how's this? Buffalo continues to struggle.
Yeah, they got a new coach too.
Hank Bulla, the coach of the Bills. Case Stevenson fired this week. On first down, Jaworski almost intercepted again. Dave Waymer, who's got 2 on the day, almost got 3.
That time Waymer was playing had helped deep, and he was playing a zone, but he let Quick get by him too quick. I mean, he was supposed to jam him, but he never got his hands on him, and Jaworski tried to get it in there, but Waymer, to his credit, recovered, followed Quick down the field, and almost made a big interception.
I think Ron Jaworski would, though, like to throw that again, as Mike Quick was, any way you want to look at it, 3 yards past Dave Waymer. A little higher, and that would have been an Eagle first down. It's 2nd and 10. Jaworski throws to Haddix. Haddix driven out of bounds, and one thing I think we've got to comment on, Ron Jaworski's getting a lot of time to throw the football more often than not.
Well, that he is, and you got to credit that offensive line for the Eagles, because we know that Clark and the rest of those guys on New Orleans front know how to get to the passer. Last week they sacked Joe Montana 6 times.
One more score. Cleveland in a game against New England is trailing by 3. Both of those ball clubs 2-2 going into today's action.
Big play for the Eagles and a big play for the Saints defense.
From the 45-yard line of New Orleans. The shotgun. A completion to Spagnuolo, and that is an Eagle first down.
That's the veteran for you. Ron Jaworski to Spagnuolo, that's a combination that's been going for some years now. They've had a long run in Philadelphia, and that time Ron saw that 51 Whitney Paul was going to attempt to cover Spagnuolo. And that time all John had to do was a run downfield, give him a little push to the right, break out to the left, and it was a tough diving catch. First down, Eagles.
And Spagnuolo having one of the best days of his career. The 6th-year tight end from Yale. On first down, Ricky Jackson comes on the blitz. Going downfield to Mike Quick, but Waymer was there. I think some Eagle people were looking for a flag, but nothing doing.
Yeah, Terry Hogue was over there also. They had a blitz on that time, and I think we'll get a look at it on a replay. There's number 57, Ricky Jackson, and he loves the blitz. He says he loves to get a chance to get a kill shot on the quarterback, but this time he's blocked out. Ron probably couldn't see so well, and that's why the throw was not as accurate as he would have liked, because Quick had to wait for it. A little contact. Waymer was concerned, but no foul called.
Well, that's that situation. The hand can go on the back, but if you don't move the body, they won't throw the flag. Jackson again on the blitz. Terry Hogue that time almost had the interception as Ricky Jackson came pouring in on Ron Jaworski, and Hogue appears to be hurt.
That's a great illustration. There's Hogue on the field. But that last play was a great illustration of how devastating a weapon the blitz can be. Because that time they had the blitz on, the throw was errant, and Jaworski was, moving for his life back there, because I would not like to be there and watch number 57, Ricky Jackson, coming at me. Here, a guard's got to come out and get him, misses, and look at that play. Bruce Clark is in there also, and what pressure. From the end zone, you can see that as Ron Jaworski tries to look downfield, he's got hands in his face, and it's hard to throw an accurate pass under those kind of circumstances. Almost a very bad play.
Ron Jaworski faces a 3rd down and 10 yards to go when we return to the Superdome with the Saints out front. 3rd down and 10. Jaworski goes to the shotgun. He's going for it on. He's got his man. A completion on the far sideline
to Ron Johnson.
Ron Johnson, a first-year wide receiver from Long Beach State, and Ron Johnson with his first catch of the day.
That was some throw. Jaworski threw that ball before Johnson even came out of his break. You see Jaworski coming back. He's reading the defense now. He knows he has to go left, and he delivers the ball. Watch Johnson. He'll turn, and there it is. Big catch for a rookie.
Not only a big catch, his first catch.
Well, that's what I mean. That's a big one.
His first catch in the National Football League, and Ron Johnson will remember that for a while.
Lots of congratulations on the sidelines for the rookie.
How is this? Inside the New Orleans 20 from the 18-yard line. 1st and 10, Philadelphia. That's Ernest Jackson protecting the football. Going to have a tough time getting that away from Ernest. Ron Jaworski on the day after replacing Randall Cunningham, 17 of 30 for 217 yards. And a touchdown as he found John Spagnola at the very end of the first half.
Well, I guess Ron Jaworski has not gotten rusty.
Is it? I couldn't agree with you more there, and I think he's relishing the opportunity to play. If they score, it's going to be very quiet in the Superdome. Jaws on 2nd down, Spagnola. That's an Eagle touchdown.
And you called it, Dan. It's gotten real quiet here in the Superdome.
Terry Hogue came back into the game after being shaken up, and he's beaten by Spagnola.
Spagnola is having a tight end's dream of a day. He's been doing it short, he's been doing it long, and now his 2nd touchdown. Here on the replay, you can see Spagnola coming across the bottom of your screen. Jaws waits for him, delivers it, and Big John, number 88, 2nd touchdown of the day.
Glenn Red, the linebacker, started with Spagnola. McFadden delivers on the extra point. And it is a 20-14 ball game. John Spagnola with a pair of touchdowns here today has sparked the Eagles along with Ron Jaworski.
Well, we talked to him, and he said he likes that quarterback, number 7, and we can see why. We have some other scores today, Dan. There's some interesting games going on around the league. Naturally, this is one of them.
This is one of them, and New Orleans, I think, thought they had a pretty safe lead when it was 20-0. Green Bay, wow, are they doing it to Detroit? 43-3. San Francisco has scored again. It's now 24-10 over Atlanta. Dan Henning in Atlanta in trouble.
He could be the next one to go.
And Rod Dahauer about to take his Colts squad to 2-3. Buffalo will go, unfortunately, to 0-5. And Cleveland came back. They're now out in front of New England.
You know, John Spagnuolo, the tight end for the Eagles, is within a career day. His career high is 11 catches for 114, and already today he has 10 catches for 107 yards.
Paul McFadden kicks off, fielded by Martin. A short kick, and Eric Martin has some room. Eric Martin gives the Saints good field position. Next Sunday here on CBS, in the early game of our doubleheader after the NFL today, St. Louis and the Eagles, the Giants, and Cincinnati and Detroit plays the Redskins. 12:30 Eastern, the start of those games. Gene Fugate and myself will be in Seattle for that Atlanta ball club. And New Orleans plays these Raiders out in Los Angeles. Not an easy assignment there. And the Bears and the 49ers, a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game.
Well, some of the Saints were telling us that they knew they had to win today because next week they're going to have their hands full, and they certainly will, playing the Raiders.
And I think they have their hands full right now. We've got an injured player on the field, clear into the Saint bench. That's one of the Eagle ball players. Trying to get an accurate read on the number. We don't want to speculate until we know for sure who it is.
Well, running down on those kicks can be very, very dangerous because you got a wide open field with people taking shots at you from all over. And it was not one of the favorite things of my football career, running down on kicks.
One of the blessings of being a big, slow tackle is that they never ask you to cover punts and kickoffs. From our vantage point here behind the Eagle bench, it's impossible for us to tell, although it is now we've been notified number 21, Evan Cooper, who's going to get up and, good news, walk off the field under his own power. You know, it's funny. I think a lot of people probably think that players on the opposing team relish seeing someone else get hurt. And, Gene, nothing could be further from the truth.
Not at all. In fact, we used to hope they could get back up so we could hit them again.
Well, I guess that's better than hoping they don't get back up.
That's for sure. Well, back to the Eagle defense, and they got their job cut out for them again, because if they can hold the Saints here, it's going to be a very interesting drive. 12 minutes to go in the game in regulation time, fourth quarter.
Marion Campbell, a defensive coach for 6 years, trying to be named the head coach. He was the defensive coordinator for Dick Vermeil in Philadelphia, so his defensive ball club playing well.
That's right. New Orleans only has one first down this entire half.
Tyrone Anthony, the lone setback. Dave Wilson rolls out, and he's got a completion to Hobie Brenner. Hobie Brenner picks up a Saint first down, and boy, did they need that.
That was a big play with the tight end coming across the middle. He has a safety on him, number 48, Wes Hopkins. There you see 85. He's coming across to the top of your screen. Wilson's just going to wait for him and deliver the ball. And Hopkins goes for the breakup, can't get it, and pulls him down for the tackle. That's a tough play for a safety to have to cover because that tight end's coming all the way across the field.
Some receivers need to pull the ball to their body. That catch was all hands by Hobie Brenner. In Philadelphia territory, Tyrone Anthony. Good for maybe 3 on the play.
Now this is a time, Dan, where I'm sure that Earl Campbell wishes that he could be in the game. You know, he talked about how he's probably letting this team down. The guys really look up to him and expect a lot of things of him, and he hasn't been able to really get on track this season. You know, he's hoping that the Saints can get into the playoffs. It would be their first time ever, and once you get in there, anything is possible, because he desperately wants a Super Bowl ring, because he's done it all as an individual.
2nd and 7. Kenny Clark, the nose tackle, comes across the line, makes contact, and that's going to be doing it the easy way for New Orleans, if indeed it goes against Ken Clark.
But Dan, how can a nose tackle be offsides? He's right in front of the ball.
Encroachment, 71 defense.
Well, Gene, remember earlier you were talking about how good some quarterbacks are at barking out those signals. Remember, the nose guard is the closest to the quarterback. So if you're susceptible to move on those voice inflections, hey, being the closest guy, sometimes it's hard to not pull the trigger. San Francisco opening up their lead over Atlanta. And Indianapolis
That's a lot of points for those Colts.
49-10. The 5-yard penalty makes it 2nd and 2. Tyrone Anthony. Well, the crowd told you that he got the New Orleans first down. As we're about to move under the 10-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. And the Saints, for the first time this half, doing something offensively.
Well, they're doing it when they have to do it, and they're keeping it on the ground. Although that first pass that was for a big first down, I think was really the one that got them going.
Early in the ball game for New Orleans, it was Wayne Wilson. Now it's Tyrone Anthony. This is Anthony again. Dancing back to the inside. Reggie Wilkes ended up making the tackle, but not until Anthony picked up some good yards.
Well, the Saints are now back into their ball control game plan. That's the way they started out the game, with Wilson looking downfield, taking it if it's there, and if not, dumping off to the back. And Tyrone Anthony that time made a nice run after the catch, taking exactly what the Eagle defense gives you. That is in front. So the Eagle defense will have to come up a little tighter now that they're inside the 30.
Tyrone Anthony was a 3rd-round draft choice from North Carolina last year. The Eagles show blitz. Off right guard. The Saints wisely running the ball into what was obviously going to be a team blitz by the Eagles.
Right. A lot of times you can bust that play on a blitz.
How many times have you seen a running back come out of there clean?
That's right.
I mean, nobody. And into the ball game right now, Wayne Wilson and Earl Campbell. For the short yardage play, Earl Campbell in the lineup. Third and 2. And Dave Wilson throws it away. Good coverage by the Eagles.
They weren't fooled. It was a fake to Campbell, and they tried to throw the pass to his lead blocker, but it didn't work. Wayne Wilson couldn't get open. Wilson, who's a very intense competitor, you can see he's upset, wishes he can go for it, but I think they're going to have to kick it.
They'll try the field goal. Morton Anderson is in. He's 9 of 12 so far on the year. His longest kick has been 55 yards. This will be 44. It's right there. And New Orleans got a huge field goal from Morton Anderson. They've moved out to a 23-14 lead. 8 minutes, 6 seconds left in the 4th quarter, and it's now or never for the Eagles.
Well, there are a lot of questions surrounding that franchise, and Jaws has to be one of them. What's he going to be doing next week after this fine performance today?
They need a good series. Herman Hunter does not get up to the 20. So a long way to go for Jaworski and the Eagles.
But there's still plenty of time, just slightly less than 8 minutes. And Jaworski knows how to run that 2-minute offense, because we saw that at the end of the first half. So we still have a lot of time for the Eagles to get back into the game. But this should be an opportunity for the Saint defense to shine, because last week when they had to shut out the 49ers, they did so. And now they're going to be challenged again.
As you can see, the Eagles, not a very good 4th quarter team offensively, although they haven't scored many points anytime. 1st and 10. Ricky Jackson.
You can see the pressure that Ron Jaworski has. They're coming up the middle, 75. Boy, I mean, there's so many guys, I couldn't even name them all.
Well, Jim Wilkes came in from the backside. Bruce Clark and Tony Elliott coming up the middle, but it was Ricky Jackson who beat his man, went up into the air and forced Jaworski to pull it down. Second down, 19 yards to go. Under pressure, Jaworski to Major Everett. And he's tackled by Johnny Poe.
Well, it looks like the Saint defense has gotten their wake-up call, Dan. They're back into the game.
A wake-up call. That's a pretty good way of describing it. Well, this is the time you don't want to be an offensive lineman. You're trailing in the ball game. It's 3rd and long, and you're inside your own 15-yard line. And you got 4 guys over there in black shirts who know how to get to the quarterback. And you got a guy wearing number 57 who's there all the time. Ron Jaworski signals an Eagle timeout as the pressure is mounting against this Philadelphia ball club. 6 minutes, 46 seconds left in this contest. The Eagles try to come back. Marion Campbell, the head coach of the Eagles, has talked it over with Ron Jaworski. They face a very treacherous 3rd down and 15 yards to go from their own 12. Philadelphia has had to use a couple of timeouts and trying to play catch-up ball down to 1. Doesn't help. The shotgun. Playing one fine football game.
He's had a fantastic game today. He said he was ready to play, and now he's proven it with big play after big play.
Horan punts from his own end zone. Flag goes down, and that ball touched and finally goes out of bounds. But there's a flag back at the line of scrimmage. And if this goes against the Eagles, I would have to think New Orleans would just as soon they bring it back and kick again. Ineligible man downfield, Philadelphia. We'll talk it over with the Saints, but I would have to think that they'll make them kick again.
Well, with 6 minutes and 31 seconds left, you got to think about it, because sometimes possession is very important. And I like having that ball too. You never know. At punt, you punt it again, you could get a fumble. Anything could happen.
Ineligible downfield, number 89 on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
Dave Little, who's a backup tight end, is also the snapper.
And he's been having his problems today, because in the first half, he almost snapped one past Horan for a safety. This time, Horan had to jump. So he's had one low, he's had one high. Maybe this one will be right on the money.
Mike Horan having to imitate a baseball shortstop here today. Let's see this snap. It's right there, and Horan kicks it out of his own end zone. Eric Martin fields it. Fair catch signals and drops the ball. That ball can't be advanced. That's a muff. That's a muff. That ball cannot be advanced, but it'll be the Eagles' ball.
And that's what I was telling you about. Take the ball. Take the ball. The Saints had a chance to take the ball, but no, they wanted to kick it again.
Eric Martin muffs the football. It's recovered by the Eagles. You cannot run that in. You cannot advance a muff. That's not a fumble.
And the reason it's a muff is because he never had control of it. He never caught the ball.
Andre Waters with the recovery.
And Andre Waters has made some big plays already this year for the Eagles. And that was another one.
So the second punt does backfire. And Philadelphia, with 6 minutes, 20 seconds to go, still has life. Michael Haddix, the lone setback. Jaworski. Mike Quick. The ball was low. Hogan slipped, but so did Quick.
Tough coverage, a tough opportunity. Quick almost came up with it, but it was a little too low.
Good job at that time by Michael Haddix blocking the blitzing Ricky Jackson.
And Major Everett, that was number 39. When you saw Major come in whispering, he was bringing the play from the sideline for Jaworski.
Probably telling Jaworski to put me in a formation on the other side of Ricky Jackson. 2nd and 10 from the 41. Deflected at the line. Glenn Red, the Eagle linebacker, had a shot at that ball, but somehow didn't go for it.
Jaworski was trying to hit number 89, Dave Little, coming across the middle that time. But somebody in the middle of that Saint line got their hands up, and it was tipped. That's a quarterback's nightmare.
That ball looked like a Texas leaguer into short center field where everyone stands around and looks at it.
Here comes the blitz again, and Jaworski took quite a shot right in the face that time. Looked like it might have been James Wilkes.
The shotgun on 3rd down. It's a completion and an Eagle first down. A completion once again. John Spagnola comes through for the Eagles.
The Saints had to be thinking that the ball was going to be going to Spagnola, and sure enough it was. Look at 57, Ricky Jackson. You've seen him blitz. Now let's watch him in pass coverage. Kind of tough staying with those tight ends, especially one like John Spagnola. He's having a terrific day.
A key first down for Philadelphia. Jaworski to throw. Spagnola. You've got to protect your receivers. John Spagnola roughed up a bit by the Saints.
They better do something to him, because he's been hurting them.
His offensive lineman, Steve Kenny, comes in and gives him a hand.
Oh, I used to love a lineman that would come out and help a tight end when he's in trouble.
That's right. Your receiver is out there. He's hung up to dry. They'll hold you up and let everybody put a headgear on you. And that time, Steve Kenny came in late and said, hey, guys, he's got a white shirt on like me. You can see Red right there. They're holding up Spagnola and taking a shot.
Yeah, they're trying to rough him up. That was Frank Wadley who came in there a little late. A little forearm, a little high cheese action.
2nd and 4. Complete to Haddix. Michael Haddix moves the ball upfield. He'll be short of the Eagle first down, but not by a lot. Ricky Jackson and Bruce Clark came out to put the hit on Michael Haddix. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left in this ball game. The Saints ahead by 9, 23 to 14. You see the time on the clock. The Eagles desperately need a touchdown.
Well, the Eagles have to get on the board quick. And some coaches say maybe you can go ahead and get a quick field goal, because you still need a field goal and a touchdown to get back into this game.
That's Gene Fugit. I'm Dan Deerdorf, and we've got an exciting game on our hands here in the Superdome. Ernest Jackson on 3rd down. Did he get it? He's close. By where they spot the ball, he is very close. Well, there you get Michael Haddix's opinion. But there's the one that counts. First down, Eagles.
I would look for the Eagles to throw into the end zone this time. Try to get a 6 quick. And when they want a quick 6, who do they go to, Dan?
I would assume that they would go to Mr. Quick.
That's right.
I'm with you. 3:45 and counting. 1st and 10. Jaworski. Touchdown!
That's why they call him Quick 6.
Boy, you're so proud of yourself.
Oh, well, you know, even a blind hog will find an acorn every once in a while. But that time they ran a play that was designed for Randall Cunningham. It was a rollout play designed to give the quarterback some more time. You see, as he'll come out, he'll have number 63 pulling out in front of him. He turns back, he makes a nice block on Bruce Clark, and Jaworski delivers a strike, and he keeps both feet in. The official wants to make sure, touchdown.
The extra point by McFadden. It's good.
That was Ron Baker who pulled out that time in front of Jaworski, giving him the opportunity to deliver that ball to Mike Quick. Watch it from ground level. You see big Bruce Clark getting pushed in, and here comes Jaws. Not known for his quick feet, but he gets it off, and it's a strike. Touchdown, and Hogue a little late on the coverage, and the Eagles are back in this ball game.
Terry Hogue a couple of yards behind Mike Quick. Boy, you're going to be tough to live with all week long. Well, you guys in the truck, we're in trouble. Gene called one, and we'll never hear the end of this. 3 minutes, 35 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and the Saints' 9-point lead has quickly dwindled to 2, 23-21. Bum Phillips has to be saying, guys, why are you doing this to me?
Well, now they got to go out and control that ball. They've got to make some first downs, and if they can't keep the ball for the rest of the game or score, they have to put the Eagles into a hole. And it's going to be a challenge for that Saint offense, which has not been the best this season, because they're going to be going up against a very fired-up, emotional Eagle defense.
Yes, I think that's very safe to say, and I admire the Eagles, the way they have hung in this ball game.
And Ron Jaworski especially, because here's a guy who was benched after the first game. He could have quit. He could have gotten on the bench and pouted, but he's a man, and he came out and played like one.
That's Tyrone Anthony going up the far sideline. The Eagles in their coverage was right there. Not much going for Tyrone
That's
Anthony.
what Marion Campbell told us last night, Dan. Tonight on CBS, we got 60 Minutes, and then Murder, She Wrote, and then some season premieres. Crazy Like a Fox and Trapper John, one of my favorite shows, Dan.
Don't forget the MD on the end of that. Huh?
Well, I know he's a doctor, and I'll be home in time to see that one.
We're all so happy for you. Well, the Eagle defense doesn't have much choice. There you see Terry Hogue, injured Saint, down on the field. He's at the 20-yard line for the second time.
He's been in the middle of it all day, too.
What a game effort he's put up playing hurt. Let's take this opportunity while Terry's being attended to by the Saints medical staff to look at some other scores. A busy day around the National Football League.
Some interesting scores, too.
Chicago, what a tough game this is. 1 point, still leading Tampa Bay.
Nobody likes to go down there.
Green Bay with that explosive firepower. Lynn Dickey got to start this week, and the Packers have responded all over Detroit. Somehow you didn't think the 49ers would lose this week.
But Atlanta gave them a tough battle early.
And Indianapolis on their way to 2-3, and Buffalo's problems continue. Terry Hogue walking off the field there in the background.
And Miami pulled it out. Boy, that must have been a tough game. That was 17-17 for a long time.
The Dolphins go to 4-1. The Steelers fall to 2-3. And Terry Hogue, the All-American from Georgia, heads to the Saint bench. Gene, we were watching him during practice on Friday afternoon, and that is a big safety. Terry Hogue listed at 6'3", 200 pounds, and he looks every bit of it to me.
He looked a little bigger than 200 even.
He really did. Well, let's make this 1st and 10. Wayne Wilson, the lone setback. Dave Wilson flares it to Wilson. Gary Cobb kept Wayne Wilson from moving back to the middle, but he picked up a couple of good yards. And we've got an injured Eagle back near where the quarterback was. That's number 93, Thomas Struthers. Thomas Struthers, who is a starter for Philadelphia defensive end until the acquisition of Reggie White, and Reggie got the call today, but Struthers down on all fours.
Well, Struthers had a fantastic opportunity when Dennis Harrison decided not to report to camp this year. Marion Campbell says you never know what a player is going to be like until he gets an opportunity to play. Struthers they knew had potential, and this year he played up to it. Now Reggie White coming back into the game, his ribs were a little tender. You ever have to play with tender ribs, Dan?
They hurt. They hurt. Next week, CBS Sports, a doubleheader Sunday. We'll lead it off with the NFL today. The 3 early games, the Cardinals against Philadelphia in Philadelphia. That game has been moved. It's the Giants in Cincinnati and Detroit and Washington, 12:30 Eastern, our start. And then the late games look like this. We'll go to Seattle as the Falcons pay a call. New Orleans goes to Los Angeles to play the Raiders, and the Bears and the 49ers. Some game that ought to be. All that next Sunday on your CBS station.
Yeah, Irv Cross will also have special reports from that 49er game next week.
They will go after each other. 2 of the finest defensive teams in the game. One more final score before the snap. 24-20 now. Cleveland has won over New England. On 2nd down and 7, Dave Wilson to Wayne Wilson. He finds a hole, and there goes a flag. There goes a flag. Did we see a face mask? Of course, it doesn't much matter what we saw. No.
No.
Holding against New Orleans. Well, this goes against the Saints. It stops the clock at 2 minutes, 42 seconds. Left in the 4th quarter.
Holding, 79, offense. Repeat, 2nd down.
You know, it just depends on where that official is looking, because he can look in a different area and see a different penalty. We were looking at the face mask, and he saw that a holding.
That's Ralph Williams, the right guard, and an incredible 21 penalties on the day here in the Dome. That's an awful lot of red flags.
But even more incredible is that the Saints have been penalized over 100 yards today, and that's a lot. Boy.
And still have the lead.
And still have the lead.
2:21 and counting. 2nd, 17.
But that lead is in jeopardy now.
Wilson going for Hobie Brenner, and he overthrows his tight end. Dave Wilson going for the big strike.
Well, that's going to set up a big 3rd down now. We're getting close to the 2-minute warning, although that incomplete pass stops the clock. So with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left, the Eagles have to be feeling pretty good right now, because they have an opportunity. If they can stop the Saints on this play, they should get the ball around midfield. And I understand, I was talking to Morton Anderson before the game, and he says in this Superdome, he can kick them from 60 yards, so maybe Paul McFadden can kick them pretty far also here.
Bum Phillips, an obvious look of concern on his face. As on 3rd down, Wilson drops. It's deflected. That ball batted at the line of scrimmage, and the Eagles' defense has come through once again.
Well, Reggie White was in there. I don't know if he tipped it, but big number 91, sore ribs and all, comes in for the injured Struthers to be an impact player on a big down. From the end zone, let's see if we can tell who got a piece of that ball. There's Reggie White at the right of your screen coming in, and sure enough,
Reggie White deflecting the ball and hitting the arm of Dave Wilson all at the same time. Another big play by the Eagles. Brian Hansen to punt for the Saints. What a kick. A fine high punt. Evan Cooper at his own 37. Gets upfield. Rather than head to the corner, he took it upfield after a 49-yard kick.
And it looked like Guido Merkins, number 19, the do-it-all man for the Saints.
Guido makes the hit. Well, it's the 2-minute warning, and there's a lot of football still to be played here in New Orleans. Paul McFadden on the Eagles sideline has yet to attempt the field goal here today. On the year so far, though, he's 7 of 9. The longest field goal of McFadden's career was a 52-yarder. That against Detroit last November 4th. Will it come down to a kick by Paul McFadden? That's what Ron Jaworski would like to know. 1 minute, 54 seconds.
Jaworski's thrown for 274 yards, 3 TDs, and only 1 interception.
Nothing short of a sensational performance. Randall Cunningham started at quarterback, got absolutely nothing accomplished. And Marion Campbell, showing the confidence of Ron Jaworski, went to him early. The ball on the 44-yard line of the Eagles. Haddix on the inside. Michael Haddix picks up about 5 as he gets close to midfield.
And that's a good play to keep that defense honest, because you know they were thinking pass.
We must keep in mind the Eagles have used 2 of their timeouts already here in the second half. They are down to only 1 timeout. Ricky Jackson on the blitz. Of the ball game.
And you got to be excited for Dave Waymer, who has risen to the challenge each time, and you've got to feel a little bit for Ron Jaworski, who had an incredible game. But we talked about how devastating the blitz can be, and here comes 57 in his face. He tried to actually throw it away, but couldn't get enough on it, and there's Waymer.
You have to wonder in a situation like that why they allow Ricky Jackson to come unblocked.
It had to be a mistake. It had to be.
1 minute and 24 seconds left. New Orleans has the football.
And more importantly, the Eagles only have 1 timeout left, so they can't even stop the clock. But one more time in this game.
Wayne Wilson drives for a couple of yards. What a game by Dave Waymer. Dave Waymer, his 6th year from Notre Dame. What a game. 3 interceptions. And that one snuffs out the Philadelphia Eagles. The clock is stopped. The Eagles take their final timeout. 1 minute and 11 seconds left. What a game effort by Ron Jaworski.
Jaworski came off the bench, got his team inspired. They got fired up, threw 3 touchdown passes, came within 2 points of tying this game up, a field goal away from winning it, a chance to win it, but couldn't come up with the big play. But it was not his fault, because big number 57, Ricky Jackson, the man who said that he was the star linebacker at Pitt with Hugh Green, was there and was taken as the first player in the draft by the Bucks, makes the big play again. He says he loves to get a kill shot on the quarterback. That time he came in clean. Jaworski just trying to, look like to me, he was just trying to throw it away. Either Quick would get it or would go out of bounds, but couldn't get enough on it. And Waymer, what can you say? He made 1 interception when he didn't even see the ball. That interception he made at the last minute, he turns and gets his hands on it. And it was so funny then. I was on the field. He says, Gene, I'm really ready to play. And he meant it.
Well, once again, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the influence of Ricky Jackson, what he's done to Philadelphia offensively today. He's really hurt them. The Eagles cannot stop the clock. The clock continues to run. Dave Waymer, high fives for the crowd.
And the Saints looks like they're going to win 3 in a row, Dan. And it's been a while since they've done that.
3 games in a row will tie New Orleans' longest winning streak. They've never gone 4 games in a row. The Saints will take a delay of game penalty. The 30-second clock has now expired. They will have to run 1 more play as the clock won't start until they do.
Well, we said today was going to be a battle of the defenses, and the Saints defense was certainly up to it when they had to be.
Well, New Orleans will go to 3-2 with this win. still very much a part of things in the NFC West.
But the Eagles have found an offense, and I'm going to be wondering who's going to be starting at quarterback when they play next week.
It is going to be interesting. What's sad for the Eagles, though, is they dropped to 1-4 in the tough NFC East.
Well, there's Bum Phillips and Marion Campbell, two coaches with teams look like they're going in different directions right now. The Saints won their third in a row, and the Eagles 1-4. Very tough in the NFC East.
Well, the gun has sounded. The final score here at the Superdome today, the New Orleans Saints have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles. The final score, 23-21. Bum Phillips goes to the locker room, but I doubt he's all that happy with the way his team didn't put the Eagles away early. Our executive producer of CBS NFL Football, Terry O'Neill. Our senior producer, Charles H. Milton III. Today's game produced by David Dinkins Jr. and directed by Robert Matina. Joe Corelli, the associate producer of today's game. Our thanks to everyone else who helped bring you today's game. An exciting contest, Gene, no doubt of that.
No question. Very exciting.
Great job by the guys on the cameras today.
We got some real good shots.
Well, it's a happy Superdome crowd that begins to wend its way home. Their Saints off to a good start.